The NBA draft lottery. Is it rigged? We got to get down to the bottom of this because I trade Luka Doncic and everything seems, well, gloomy. It's rainy. It's down in the dump. Fast forward a couple months and what do you know? I don't know if it's good karma. I don't know if it's good rigging and string pulling by Adam Silver, or I don't know if the lottery is just that real, where the Atlanta Hawks can win it one year and the Dallas Mavericks can win it the next year. But we'll talk about what the Mavericks should do with that pick. Should they draft Cooper Flagg or should they explore other options, as well as the San Antonio Spurs? And we'll talk about the whole lottery from top to bottom. Also, there are two teams that are now down 3-1. And we'll discuss what those series look like and what's going to happen in Game 5 of both of those series. Also, there was a superstar that was hurt yesterday, Jason Tatum. We'll talk about the significance of what this injury could be, what this injury means for the Celtics and Tatum just in general, and what this may mean just for the NBA in totality. Oh, hey, chill. And so with that being said, fellas, let's go ahead and get directly into it. The NBA draft lottery was yesterday. I brought some guys that know what they talking about with us today. We got Penn, we got John D in the house, Mars and Chill as well. What's up, fellas? Let's talk about this lottery. Where do y'all want to start?
I want to start with the conspiracy thing. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the whole rig thing. I'm sick of this thing being rigged. Because no, it's not. It is not rigged. In order for something to be rigged, you need a conspiracy, and a conspiracy involves more than one person. And when that one person doesn't get what they want, they start to talk, and then another person doesn't get what they want, and they start to talk. So over the years, I have heard these many people talking about this. This is what happened exactly. I haven't heard that at all. So because of that, the only reason why they say that this thing is rigged because your team didn't get the #1 pick. That's why this thing is rigged, for no other reason whatsoever. So I'm not trying to hear that whole "this thing is rigged" logic. Give me a break.
Okay, so before we get to that, because I know that's going to be
this is about to be a nasty episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to at least talk about some of the positions that these teams are in.
Mm-hmm.
You have the San Antonio Spurs, who probably have one of the best problems in the NBA. Like, you have a team that's full of young guards with Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell, and then you have an all-star guard in De'Aaron Fox. And now you have the second pick in the draft that can lead you to drafting the best guard in the draft or trading for an all-time great big in Giannis.
Who is the best guard in the draft in your estimation?
Dylan Harper. Harper. It will go Dylan Harper, VJ, Jeremiah off the top of my head. Trey Johnson will be in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dylan Harper is the guard that you draft if you stick and pick it too. They also have the 14th pick to where you can get a versatile wing or forward like a Rasheer Fleming, a Colin Murray Boyles. I know Penn's been really high on Carter Bryant. I also think Noah Penda is a sleeper in this draft. I think the Spurs
Carter
have one of the best.
Carter Bryant, where's Carter Bryant from? Since we
Arizona.
Okay, I'm listening. Keep going.
I think the Spurs are in a really good situation, whether they want to stick and pick or they want to trade. Now, for teams like the Wizards that fell, I said this on the Hoop Talk podcast a couple of weeks ago. If the Wizards were to fall, go draft Kaman, move Alex Sarr to his preferred position at the 4, build a real defensive unit, and then go out and try and get your scoring guard. If that was a avenue you would want to take. The Utah Jazz, this hurts. The Hornets, this hurts. I want to say for the small market teams, I'm sure this really hurts. As for Dallas Mavericks fans, I'm happy for you guys. I know you guys have been really hurting over losing Luka Doncic, and coming from me, I know it may not mean much, but I'm really excited you guys got another young superstar that could potentially be one of the better players in this league. But I'm going to be completely honest. I don't love the fit in Dallas. I don't love it.
I'm with you, John.
I don't love the fit. I mean, they're going to be fantastic defensively. They're going to be great defensively. I think Cooper Flagg, not only being the best prospect in the NBA, he's also somebody that has the play style to be a guy that can push himself into a playoff team and be expected to make playoff level plays, just being a connective passer and a off-ball player and a good roamer defensively where he can play passing lanes or protect the rim. I just don't love the fact that this is a team that has a lot of people that are going to depend on someone to get open shots for them. And then Kyrie Irving is going to be out for majority of the season. So it's going to be very interesting this offseason to see if they can go grab a guy that can really set that up for them for the season. I'm gonna let you guys go because I can go all day. You guys go ahead.
I want to, before we go, I do want to flash this on the screen. And just for those who don't know what the lottery turned out to be, this is what it looks like. We have obviously the Dallas Mavericks at number 1. Then we have the San Antonio Spurs coming in hot at 2. The Philadelphia 76ers got the 3rd pick. Shout out to Philly. And you have the Charlotte Hornets at 4, Utah Jazz at 5, and the Washington Wizards at 6. I'm going to stop right here because if I'm not mistaken, those were the top 3 teams with the highest percentages to get the number 1 pick, right? The Hornets, the Jazz, and the Wizards.
Yeah, they all have 14%.
And they are at 4, 5, and 6. And then at 7, you have the New Orleans Pelicans. At 8, we have the Brooklyn Nets. At 9, Penn's great franchise, the Toronto Raptors. At 10, Mars's old franchise, the Houston Rockets. At 11, Mars's new franchise, the Portland Trailblazers. At 12, we have the Chicago Bulls. At 13, the Atlanta Hawks. And at 14, the Spurs rounded out by getting their 2nd pick in the lottery.
There's a lot of really good talent in this lottery, and I definitely think every team in the lottery can go get somebody that could help them out, whether it's in the future or whether it's right now. I think there are some players that really have some good traits to come into the league and make an impact. There's a lot of guard play. There's not a lot of lottery bigs compared to like the wings and the guards in the lottery, but I definitely do think there is some very underrated bigs that you can find within like 15 to 22, Thomas Sorber being one of them. So there's something for every team in this draft. There's something for every team.
Okay.
So I want to go around the room, and Penn, you could kick it off, and I just want to hear everybody's thoughts on just the draft in totality. And this could be where you think a guy could get selected. This could be if you think it's rigged. This could be if you think a certain team should make a trade. I just want to hear how everybody feels about what happened yesterday. This is obviously a monumental moment for the summer, for next season, and just the NBA in totality. So, Penn, talk to us. Where do you want to kick things off with?
Talk about the biggest losers. Biggest losers are clearly the Utah Jazz, who moved down from the worst team in the league to, the 5th pick. This happened 3 years in a row now. The Detroit Pistons were the worst team last year, and the previous year they ended up with Ron Holland and Jaden Ivey. You go from 1 to 5. Second biggest loser, clearly Washington Wizards. Third, New Orleans Pelicans. All 3 teams moved down significantly. The OKC Thunder are my 4th biggest loser, because when those 2 teams from the bottom, Dallas and San Antonio, moved up, if Philly had not moved up, they would have moved down 2 spots. If their pick had landed at 7, it would have conveyed to OKC.
That's OKC's pick. Yep.
So the OKC Thunder went from having the 7th pick to having no pick.
Right.
So that kind of sucks for OKC. Although I'm pretty sure they're fine with it because they have a lot of talent. The Charlotte Hornets are my 5th biggest loser. The Brooklyn Nets are my 6th biggest loser. The Toronto Raptors, who moved down 2 spots from 7 to 9, are my one of my other losers. And the Chicago Bulls are my last loser because they had the coin flip with the Dallas Mavericks for which team was 12 and which team was 11. I came on this show, if you remember the clip, on April 11th, and I said, if they move from 13 to 11, their odds double. And they can get Cooper Flag. It's more possible than ever. And they end up getting Cooper Flag. The biggest winners, there's a lot of winners too. It's not just the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks are clearly the biggest winner. The San Antonio Spurs, huge winner. The Philadelphia 76ers are a huge winner too, because they realistically could have lost their pick and they end up with a top 3 pick, which is amazing for them. Yep. I was not happy about that, obviously, but I'll give you another winner.
Hey, right quick, Pim, before you go to the next one, though, with the Philadelphia 76ers, this is humongous for them.
Sure. They have a lot of bad contracts. They have a lot of bad contracts.
A lot of bad contracts. Like this
it could bail you out.
It could really bail them out. And I don't want to throw out a lot of hypotheticals and whatnot, but chill to be able to get
absolutely. You already know where I was at when I said if they end up with the number 1 pick, what I was doing. I'm out on Joel Embiid. I'm out.
And Paul
I'm
George.
out. I'm out on both of them dudes. I'm ready to move on from them. I want to build this unit around Maxey and McCain and see what else that I can get. And now that I got a top 3 pick, I can still do that. I don't think that that's something that's ridiculous for me to do. I can still do that. Now I will say this: I don't think that the NBA would allow Giannis in San Antonio with Wemby. I don't think that they would. I don't think that they would allow that. Off the strength of what we looking at right now in the landscape of the NBA. I mean, who's the best player in the league right now as of today? I still think it's Joker. I mean, 4 to 5 best players in the NBA are in the Western Conference. If you move Giannis to the Western Conference, it's going to get even trickier. It's going to get even trickier if you do that. So I'm not sure if the NBA is going to allow that. Now, as far as Cooper Flag, and I know how high you are on him, John, but my question to you is, today, is he better than Basellis up in Chicago?
Yep.
I think he can come in and play better than Buzelis. Yes,
he's way better than Buzelis, y'all.
Today,
don't say way.
This is the thing. Like, we don't know how Cooper Flag's gonna like. I mean, I think he's gonna translate to the NBA, but
I do too.
This is me thinking he's gonna come in and be like a top 50 player in the league, and by the end of during his rookie year, just because I think he has the NBA ready type of game. You know, he's gotten a lot better as an on-ball creator this year, which is something he wasn't doing in high school. He was playing off the ball. I think he's a good popper, shooting the mid-range. I think he's good rolling to the basket. I think he's a good cutter. I think he plays really well in the gaps. I think he plays really well as a help side rim protector. His intensity is going to be very high off day one. You know, that's somebody that's going to always keep himself in the play defensively and offensively. Sure. He's a really good rebounder. He can make connective passes and make passes out of advantages or people just being really reckless with closeouts. Right. I think his game just translates to the NBA, whether he's going to be that number one option like he would have been if he would have went to Washington, or if you're going to be somebody that's going to have to step in and really figure out your positioning within a contending team or a team that is trying to go to the playoffs and trying to contend. And with the top 3 picks, I think that's going to be the case with all 3 of them. The Spurs are trying to make the playoffs next year. They got De'Aaron Fox and Wemby if they stick and pick there. The Sixers are probably going to try to make the playoffs if Embiid is healthy. So it's going to be really interesting to see where all of these prospects fit into their teams once the postseason comes around.
What I'm thinking about, John, is I'm thinking about, and I'm sticking at the top of the draft because I think that's the most glaring. So Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag with him reclassifying, if he doesn't reclassify, he's coming out of high school basically, because this last season was his senior year of high school. Yeah. So I'm thinking about an 18-year-old on a crew in Dallas that's basically ready to win right now, right? They're especially with that front court, with Anthony Davis, with Derek Lively, with Daniel Gafford. They're ready to win right now. So if we're going to plug this kid into this group, who, by the way, if you take him with the number 1 pick, we're not grooming him. Like, he's got to play immediately. This isn't a kid who's going to sit behind Daniel Gafford. He's going to sit behind Lively. He's got to play right now.
So, he doesn't have to, Chill, but he can. He can play right now, but he does. But they got enough talent down there, Chill. They got enough talent down there, Chill.
But and that's what I'm thinking, Ox. I'm thinking, okay, soon as Gafford isn't playing up to snuff, soon as Derek Lively isn't playing, they're going to start calling for Cooper Flag, and I think that that's going to accelerate his process. But could it ruin him too? Could it screw him up?
No.
Well, Chill, he's gonna be playing. Well, let's assume that, because that's what we're doing. He hasn't been picked number 1 yet, but I'm pretty sure we all know what's going on, right? But Chill, I think this is a perfect situation for him. Let's say they just draft him and keep the squad the same as far as front court goes. That's a great situation. Derek Lively is a great basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Davis is one of the greatest basketball players. Sure. Daniel Gafford is a really good basketball player. Yeah. PJ Washington. These dudes don't need, they don't need Cooper Flag as far as, you know what I'm saying, like the group of guys I just said, they're straight. They can hold their own. They can play their position. Cooper Flag coming in, he's, so it's like there's no pressure, young fella. Don't trip, young fella. You get better. If you're good enough, you're gonna get your minutes, you're gonna play. But it's like, I don't think there's no pressure on his back. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he gets to fit in. Real quick, I did all of y'all spoke, right? Because I'm late. I don't want to jump in and just
we all good.
Hey, Ox, I wanna just play this video right quick. Hold that thought. I want to play this video and just let you guys know that this is the only place on planet Earth where things like this happen and get spoken into existence. Right here on Player's Choice. You see the great Chill Town. And I don't know if you guys were tapped into this episode or if you weren't, but in case you missed it, on episode 508, something magical happened.
Mavericks getting the number 1 pick in the draft.
One more time.
Dallas Mavericks getting the number 1 pick in the draft.
Bro.
And bagging Cooper Flag. Like they end up missing the playoffs.
Chill, that would be crazy. That would be crazy.
We just saw. I know it's an anomaly. I know what happened last year.
Would Nico Harrison take Cooper Flag?
He's not that ridiculous, Moss. Knock it off, okay? Knock off the nonsense. He's not.
I think that's a valid question to ask.
I don't know. There's rumors that he took a couple shots at a frat party last month. So
he was on the keg at Duke.
Yeah, there's a rumor he hit the keg once or twice at the frat party. So
watch out.
He
had a beer. He's got a problem. we might not be able to handle this. He's got a problem. So watch out. You might want to stay away from that.
He doesn't have good work ethic, obviously.
What are you even doing at a party? What are you doing at a frat party? Matter of fact, he's not only is he not the number 1 consensus pick, he's not a top 10 pick. Let me stop, but it's ended up getting clipped and y'all think that I'm crazy.
They got their picks this coming up draft, right?
Yes.
Cooper Flag to the Mavs. You heard it here first.
Can you imagine the Dallas?
Y'all heard it here first.
Ron, what I was about to say, Ron, actually directly pertains to that clip. I just didn't know. But see, this is another thing. This all of this ties in though, Ron. And I'm gonna tell you how come Chill felt the need to say that. First of all, I want to say this too. Stop tanking. Stop tanking.
It's not helping you.
Play ball. Look, this all goes into it. What happened? Anthony Davis got there, and a lot of us, including myself, was like, man, Kyrie's out. You might as well just, try to get healthy, big fella. Instead, they rocked and they played ball and they tried to get to the playoffs. They didn't make it. Before that, what happened was you got Luka Doncic and the rest of the squad. The front office, everybody, they wasn't seeing eye to eye. Luka's a great player. They wasn't seeing eye to eye. So instead of beating a dead horse and trying to make it work, they let him go. Nico, instead of panicking, he had a little game about himself. Everybody else was worried. He let him go. And the basketball gods blessed him in the city of Dallas. See, chill as a brother with some game about yourself. I'm sure you could feel that. You didn't know what you was feeling, but there's a reason you said what you said. I'm telling you, man. Good job, Nico. Stand on your nuts.
Patience and faith is what Ox is saying.
Yeah.
Patience, faith, and confidence. Mars, I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole scenario and what happened with the rigging and the picks and all of that good stuff. How you feel?
Mad as hell that Portland got the 11th pick. That's how I'm feeling. Seen Tamani up there. I felt for him, man, because I was mad too. And then Houston showed up right after that. So then I was mad twice. I think it was a crazy draft.
Really quickly, Mars, so I can understand. I can understand where you guys are going with this draft thing. The difference between wins, is it that much of a difference in percentage, whether I get the number 1 pick or where my pick is? So, for example, San Antonio and Portland, they only finished 2 games from each other. So because they were like, what does that change in terms of the odds of us getting picks?
So Chill, Dallas walked in with a 8.5% chance at a top 4 pick. And this is largely because the NBA's flattened the draft lottery odds.
Sure.
So the way the draft lottery is done, for anyone who doesn't understand it, is picks 1 through 1, 2, 3, 4 are done. Oh, I got an alarm going on. My bad, guys.
No problem.
Penn understands it way more than I do, but from my understanding, it's just the wins just determines your record. The lower your record is, it determines where you stand in the draft lottery. So if you have the worst record, the 3 worst records, you have the best chance of number 1.
Right.
But interestingly enough, if you have the worst record in the NBA, you have like a 50% chance of being the 5th pick, something close to 50. I don't know what it exactly is. So Portland's having 2 less wins or 2 more wins. Which one was it? 2 more wins or 2 less wins than San Antonio?
San Antonio had 2 more wins than the Trailblazers.
So Portland's having 2 less wins, 2 more wins than the Spurs. They affected their chance of a top 5 pick by like maybe like 3%, maybe 2%. I don't know. Something to that effect. But I mean, it's a lottery for a reason, right? Anything can happen. I mean, Atlanta won it last year. Now I do think it's majorly coincidental. Some of the things that have happened in recent times, but I don't want to say it dispels tanking, because at the end of the day, Philly tanked and they got the 3rd pick. The Spurs tanked once Wemby went down. They got the 2nd pick. The 4th pick was Charlotte. They tanked. Like, the only team that didn't tank that got a top 4 pick or top 5 pick was Dallas. So, like, I get it is meant to discourage tanking, but at the end of the day, these teams still tanked and got high picks.
Was Utah tanking, Mars, or were they just
They tanked. They tanked.
Was Washington
tanking? Washington, however, I think they just sucked. I think Washington just sucked.
Damn,
I think Charlotte was just garbage. I don't think they were tanking.
I don't think that's a problem. I think if you're just a legitimately bad team, which Washington are, I don't think that means you are tanking. I think that means you just you suck. Utah tanked. Like, Larry Markkinen was fully, he was fine. He could have played. Like, they were fine in Utah because they weren't playing Larry Markkinen. Like, they were tanking. Washington, I think, just stink. Charlotte got destroyed by injuries and ultimately stunk. Like, I don't call that tanking.
You gotta understand, tanking sometimes too is putting a roster together like that. Like, you know, having a bunch of guys just throw some shit around. I mean, they made a trade at the end, but the tank was already done. The shit was done. They lost enough games. It was just like, now let's act. But sometimes putting a roster together, even sometimes putting a coach in a certain spot.
AKA, I mean, you can understand that. Like, the Washington Wizards knew they.
So we already throwing the season? Is what you're saying, Jordan? Like,
I mean, they can understand. We are on a playoff team, so let's maximize our chances. But once the team is put together, I agree. That's what they did. Like, they knew they weren't doing anything. I think we all projected the Wizards to suck. But then once the season starts, I don't think they were just out there like, 4th quarter, let's punt this game. Like, I think they were already down 26. Like, it's just they went out and beat Denver twice. Like, they wouldn't ultimately help their odds too much, but like
the whole tanking, draft thing, every element of the draft comes down to probability. Every draft, you have 1,000 possible combinations that can come up with those 4 balls. If you're the worst team, second team, third worst team, you have 140 possible combinations. When you move down to Dallas's range, you only have 17. Would you rather have 17? Would you rather have 140? In neither case, whichever combination comes up, people are going to scream conspiracy, right? At the end of the day, it does come down to probability, though. You have to play the odds. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You got to play the odds. So would I rather have the best odds or the seventh best odds? It doesn't matter if the 7th best odds won 3 times. It's like, would you rather have 12 lottery tickets? Would you rather have 150 lottery tickets? It doesn't matter if the 12 won. You rather have 150 every single time. The other thing that I'll say is, who was the number 9 pick in 1997? Anyone remember?
Is Vince Carter?
Nope.
No, he was in 99.
It was Tracy McGrady. Yes, it was.
Do you remember who? Pick up your ball knowledge.
Do you remember who was number 8?
Yeah, it was. Give me a second.
I don't.
Is that an overarching point that there's better players in the draft at different positions? Is that
no? What I'm saying is that every single player that we're going to talk about is a hypothetical and is a game of probability.
Yep.
You think Cooper Flag is a star, including Cooper. You think Cooper Flag is a star. What I see is a player with a very high floor, a player who has a potential to be a star, and maybe that potential is 12%. That he can be maybe he has a 1% chance to be the best player in the league, a 5% chance to be an all NBA guy, a 17% chance to be like an all-star, and then everything else beyond that falls below that probability line. Years from now, people will forget what people said today, but I won't forget because I'm taking notes. Okay, people said that Marvin Bagley was going to be better than Luka Doncic. People said DeAndre Ayton was going to be better than him. People said that this game wouldn't translate.
That 100% was going on.
I mean, the jury's still out. I mean, the jury's still out.
The player that was picked at 8 ahead.
And Marvin showed out in the playoffs.
The player that was picked at 8. The player that was picked at 8 was Adonis Foyle. Adonis Foyle went over Tracy McGrady. That means an NBA professional who made millions of dollars in a front office that spent millions of dollars of scouting looked at Adonis Foyle, looked at 6'8" Tracy McGrady, and said, "You know what? I'll take Adonis Foyle."
Okay, so remember, wait a minute, wait, whoa, Penn. So let's relax. Okay, so Adonis Foyle who played at the university. He played at Colgate. He played at Colgate College. He was a big man in the big man league at the time, and he was dominating that league, which is the Patriot League, and he looked like he was going to be one of the better big men in the game. Tracy McGrady was coming out of high school, which at that time wasn't really that celebrated. Guys coming out of high school. So a guy who was college seasoned, who was in college, and he was seasoned, and he looked like he was more pro ready as opposed to Tracy McGrady, who was still in college. It didn't sound like a bad idea at the time.
It didn't sound like a bad idea at the time, just like maybe Emeka Okafor is better than Dwight Howard didn't sound like a bad idea at the time. What I'm saying is both Emeka Okafor and Dwight Howard had some potential to be the best center in the league. Emeka was dope, but what I'm saying is Sheldon Williams went top 5. What I'm saying is Jokic 41st. What I'm saying is all of these players are a probability. So right now we're going to talk about this draft and we're going to say Dylan Harper's going to be a star. Y'all don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Y'all say Ace Bailey going to be the next Paul George, next Tracy McGrady. Y'all don't know. He might be out of the league in 5 years. What I'm saying is teams have to play the odds. And then once you play the odds, which is to say you bring that player into your system, you need to develop them. You need to foster them. That brings me to my final point, which is to say the real winner of this entire thing was the city of Dallas. And the real winner was Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg gets to play.
But I got a question, Penn. I got a question, Penn. Because what do you call, like somebody said Jody Meeks, right? Jody Meeks was hooping in college, right?
Sure.
Okay. Jody Meeks had a long NBA career. So if he get drafted top 10, like, whether he becomes a star or not, like, even if you get drafted like Zachary Richardson, if Zachary Richardson, he might not be a star, but let's say he played 15 years. That number 1 pick is valid. Like, I think people think of it has to be Michael Jordan, LeBron, this guy, that guy. But if those guys only play 8 years, 7 years, and Richardson plays 15 years and he's on a good team for that long and contributing, that number 1 pick panned out. Regardless, whatever number you are, like Taurean Prince was, I think, like the 12th pick. Like, surprise everybody. Gonna play a long time though. So,
yeah, but the thing is here that again, people will only judge the outcome after the fact. So Dirk became a star. Robert Tractor Trailer, who was the better player at the time, did not become a star. So people roast that. But at the time when the trade was made, Tractor was a way better player. And for years, he looked like he might be the better player, and Dirk struggled a lot. Tracy struggled a lot. Jermaine O'Neal toiled on the bench. He was the 16th pick. So what I'm saying is, look, it's going to take some time for these players to show who they are. Don't give up faith. If your team drafts a player who looks bad initially, he might turn it around. A lot of players have turned it around. What I want to just say about the Cooper Flagg thing is, I mean, City of Dallas, Paige Beckers and Cooper Flagg. Nice. That's heat. That's heat, yo. Heat. Y'all got the top college player on both sides, men and women. And in the same city that you said. The reason I say that Cooper is a winner is because, number one, a lot of these young players, when I say they're hypothetical, part of the hypothetical is what context are we putting you in? I don't think Cooper's a loser. I think Cooper's a winner. I think his choice to go to Duke and win as many games as he did, be one of the, get to the Final Four as a freshman, that shows me that he's a winner. This is a kid that really cares. He has a high motor. He really tries. He cares about defense. He's diving on the ball. This is a winner. You don't want a winner to have to be forced to lose for 3-4 years in a bad system like, I don't know, Charlotte, Washington, whatever, where the organization coming down and saying, we're trading all your best teammates because we want to tank for AJ DeBonsa, or we want to tank for, Cameron Boozer. We don't want that. So Cooper's going to get to win right away. He's going to be in a winning situation with champions. He's going to be in the same locker room as Klay Thompson.
To be fair, he's going
to be
Irving,
Milwaukee, AD, and he's going to have the head coach that, by the way, developed Giannis.
That's fine.
No, he's going to
go to Milwaukee.
Hold on right quick.
I got to drive up there.
I got $100 super chat from my man Arch. Not Prime, not Diddy, not Tyler, not cousin or whatever relative it could be. This is Arch, the real Arch. And Arch said, smoking on that Celtics pack. LOL.
Come on, Arch.
He ain't lying.
Yeah, OG.
Yep.
Yeah, OG.
Yeah,
told you.
He wasn't lying.
If y'all smoking, OG, what? I don't participate in those types
No,
of
not smoking. I ain't smoking. I'm talking about OG and Anobi. That's the that's the duo. OG and Mikal.
Yeah, you see Mikal turn into KD? Oh damn, that man couldn't miss a midi
in the fourth.
Y'all said that they didn't need both of them. Yeah, they did. Hey, I just want to just address something real quick though, y'all, because everybody's saying that it's clearly rigged because they got number one after trading Luka and stuff.
Yep.
And I just want to say, like, I don't want to say I think the NBA is like super rigged, like everything is controlled, but I do believe that there are certain things that get moved around, and I think that that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's show business. You know what I'm saying? It's show business, and on top of that, there's billions upon billions upon billions of dollars involved in this. If you are a businessman and there's billions of dollars involved in this, you're not just gonna leave it all up to chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's too much money going on. So yeah, it might be a little rigged. And I don't care. You know what? Nico saved the season, and then they repaid him. And they deserved the number one pick, man. Shout out to DFW, man. Shout out to Dallas.
Whoever's writing this script needs a raise,
man. A big raise.
They need a bonus, and they need a raise too, because this is ridiculous.
I've been writing this shit
too much
for a
money
long
going
time.
on. Come on, man. Shout out to Dallas, man.
Whatever you're doing, whatever you're drinking.
I've been writing this shit for a long time.
Whatever workout it is.
Hey, I'm gonna call you later, Jordan. We got some work to do.
Yeah, I got you. I got a bunch of storylines. I've been pushing them all through the timeline. I've been pushing all kinds of shit, boy. I'm on it. I ain't even done yet. That's what's crazy. I ain't done yet. Yeah.
So you still got a lot of ink in your pen.
What?
So which, because Penn, you brought up an interesting point about the draft and getting the number 5 pick when you at the bottom of the league. So which way does Utah go? Like what are they doing? What are they doing with this number 5 pick? Because it seems that the number 5 pick has been, thumbs up in recent history. Like the number 5 pick has not been bad.
Sheldon Williams, notwithstanding, Vince Carter was awesome. Look, I think every draft is different. Last year, they said there was no top talent. Agreed. But there was a really lot of depth, a lot of role players.
Yep.
You had really good players being picked 15th, 19th, 17th. You had 16th. You had players, Montes Buzelis at 11. You had a lot of depth. People just soured on it because there was no Cooper Flagg. There was no Zion. This year's draft, I actually think, is very interesting because after Cooper Flagg, everyone's saying Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. That's been the consensus. But I actually believe this draft is pretty flat between 2 and 12. So whoever Utah wants at 5, some people say, oh, they won't go for Kamal Malawach because they already got Walker Kessler. They've been trying to trade Walker Kessler for 2 years. They might go Kamal Malawach. They could also go
trying to trade Walker Kessler for 2 years. The reason why Danny Ainge won't trade Walker Kessler because Danny Ainge doesn't want to hand him over for a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack, which is what other people are trying to do. The Lakers in particular. Danny Ainge is trying to get top dollar because that's who Danny Ainge is. That's why I can't stand his ass. That's who Danny Ainge is. He's trying to get top dollar. There's no way that you have a 20, 21, 22-year-old rim protecting big like Walker Kessler on your roster and you're having a difficult time trading him on a rook deal, by the way. It's not like he's making a lot of money. He's on a rook deal, big time rim protector, can rebound the basketball, and you're having a difficult time trading him. The reason why you're having a difficult time trading him. One more time.
Ain't that rookie deal almost over with? Let me take a look.
I think this
he's extension eligible.
Yes.
I think what Mitchell Robinson doing, in the playoffs, what Steven Adams did in the playoffs is actually going to raise the value of someone like Walker Kessler a little bit, in my opinion.
100%.
Hey,
I didn't hear what you said.
I was saying that Walker Kessler going to be on the USA team. The next time
he was on that FIBA. Wasn't he on that FIBA team?
Yeah, he was on the FIBA team. But I'm saying he's gonna make the big team the next time for the Olympics. But
not over Jalen Durham.
I think he's gonna make it over Jalen Durham. Chill, but we could talk about that. But Penn, I know your boy is AJ DeBonsa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You like, man, I'm gonna be real with you. I did a little bit of research on AJ DeBonsa over the last couple of weeks.
And what?
Bro, I think it's gonna be a bad idea, bro. I didn't have my sources. You know what's crazy? I had my sources tell me the exact same thing Ox said. That he can't really get his shot off like that. Like he can't really, or whatever Ox said. I think Ox said he can't really get to his shot or something like that. But dude told me the same thing. I'm watching some clips of him. Bro, he talked too much. That's number 1. Number 2, he cries too much. This number 2. Cries about anything. I mean, hopefully college fix him. That's what college is for. It's supposed to bring that dog out you and fix you. But he plays as if he's guaranteed to go to the NBA and be this guy. And when players do that, they lose a bit of edge to him. Like everything about him is, but I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get to the league. I'm like, yo, Relax, brother.
Did you watch Kobe in high school? He was like that too.
I mean, I didn't personally watch him, but I went back. I went. I mean,
This is 3 days in a row you doing
He ain't being though.
Yeah, but he ain't being though. I agree.
Keep Kobe Bryant out of this. He ain't being. I'm telling you, Jordan. I'm at the.
LeBron was like that in high school too. He didn't look like he was doubting himself. Okay, like
no, but he not that. He not. He doesn't have. AJ DeBonster doesn't have a real like.
We'll see.
AJ DeBonster don't have a real like skill set. His skill set is his athleticism right now.
Exactly.
Like, he doesn't have a jump shot that I can count on every time. He doesn't have the best ball handling. He's not the best passer, but I'm hoping college fixes that. The difference between when I seen Cooper Flag at 15, 16 years old playing in EYBL, like he was physically athletic, physically gifted more than everybody else, but he also understood the game. He also knew how to play the game. He was getting to his shot. When they was being physical with him, Cooper Flag had dog in him too. He wasn't crying about no foul. I seen this shit up close.
Cooper
like AJ DeBonster be crying because they be double teaming him and shit like that. Like, come on, bro. Like, and it's like, yo, chill, bro. Like, I off that tune.
Devin Booker was crying.
The thing about it, he's soft for that. The thing about that though, Jordan, when I'm watching AJ, I think he is a really good basketball player. So I didn't mean it to come out like that. I think he's a really good basketball player.
No, I think so too.
It's when he's against the top talent, you know, there was kids that was out there a little more hungrier than him. That was kind of, you know, and AJ big and physical. It's like but there's other kids out there that I think are just as good as him. And they're just a little more hungry, and they got a little more to it. But those are the things that he's missing. Though I think he can easily work on. I think
that's what I said in college. I think in college
he can get on the wing. You know what I'm saying? He'll get some ice, get his ISO game right. You know, stop, pull up. I think he has all the physical tools that you need to be great, especially at his size. So I'm definitely excited to see where he goes. I just think he got some work to do to get where. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think it's obvious right now.
May 13th panel. Bring this episode back for everybody.
Top 10 pick. I just don't know if
2
he's
years.
consensus number
Well,
one.
top 10.
I'm about to step in because AJ 2 years from now. We got the lottery right now this year with players that are coming out. I wanna direct it more so back to who's coming out this year, and I also want to say some Penn and John. You guys that kind of alluded to biggest winners and losers. And Chill, you talked about the Utah Jazz being number 5. Yep. My thing is, you tanked, and everybody wants the number 1 pick. Everybody wants the fastest car. Everybody wants the best looking chick. All of this stuff. But here's the thing: at number 5, you're probably not gonna get Cooper Flag. Whatever.
Right.
Your job as a GM is to go in there and find the next best pick at number 5. Penn said he feels it's pretty flat after the top three picks. In every draft,
flat after 1.
All right, so after 1 is flat. Well, here's the thing. In every single draft, there's a sleeper. In every single draft, you could find somebody to take that can take your team to the next level. It's up to these five. The number 5 pick is an amazing pick. It could be worse.
10 is too. You know,
are you got
Şengün at 18?
You know how many great players have gone at 13? Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Kobe Bryant. How many great ones? How many great players have gone at number 9? DeMar, Tracy McGrady, Dirk Nowitzki. They're great players everywhere. Look at 15. Look at 15. Kawhi and Giannis went 15. So, I don't think people need to be praying on lottery gods. I think they need to be praying on their front office that they did their job this year and dug in deep on these players and figured out what made them crack. I mean, I've talked to trainers and scouts who tell me, like these front offices go and they start dissecting your grade 6 teacher. Maybe like, what was this kid like in high school? Or what was the kid like in grade school? What's some confrontation that you had with them? What temper tantrums? What were they like as a teammate? What were they like? They dig deep. They dig deep, man. They dig super deep.
Penn, you are 100% right. I told y'all I won't give up my source, but he was a scout for the Lakers. I'm having dinner in Turkey. The man said, "Hey, do you know what's the kid name that just left from U of H? Terrence Arsenault." I'm like, "Yeah, he played for my coach." "Oh, how is he?" He's a good kid. Yeah. He said, "Oh, because the Lakers looking to get him in like the next couple of years." And I'm like, bro, he ain't even played a game. He was red shirt.
Yo, these
like,
teams
we
are
send
scouting
scouts to
these
watch him
kids when
practice
they're
all the time.
15 and 14 years old. They're watching them all the way through. Kids who were really good, like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, they've been scouted since they were 13, 14 years old. It is nuts how early teams get in on this. The best teams consistently do a good job. Years past, we had the Spurs doing a great job with the international drafting. Why? Because they were ahead on international scouting. Now people caught up. Now people figured out there's prospects everywhere. Now you go find corners of the world that people are not looking, like Africa. You got to go to Africa. You got to go to Greenland. I don't know. You got to go to China. You got to go find someone new because the world is getting smaller. We're way more connected than we've ever been before. It's just hard to hide a guy like Giannis. I'll tell you right now, 2013, Giannis went 15th, right? It was 2013. If Giannis came out today, he'd go top 5.
He might be the number one. He might be the number one.
He might. Well, not in this year's draft. He'd go top 3 in this year's draft. So what I'm saying is, it's just hard to hide a guy like this anymore. You can't keep secrets. It's harder to keep.
And since we're on the subject of hiding guys, John D, I know how big you are on these two guys from Rutgers being the number 2, the consensus number 2 and the number 3 pick in the draft. I mean, does winning matter at all? And the reason why I'm asking you this is because these two guys were on the same team. Rutgers was garbage.
Real quick, chill.
They're the worst team.
I don't know if I've confessed my bias towards a certain Duke center. He's my number 3 prospect. He's my number 3 prospect. We're gonna talk about him in a second.
No way you think he's better than Ace.
You had him going 6 on your mock draft you did yesterday.
I just don't.
The South Sudanian kid, is that who you talking about?
Between that though, I just don't know if the Hornets would take him over Mark Williams. I would. Yep. I wouldn't bet on it. And then when you have the Sixers, would they take him knowing they still have him on top of the Jazz? I don't know.
John D, he got conspiracy. That's why. That's what
he got. But what Chill just asked is a very legit question.
Yeah,
you got these two. You got these two dudes that are both supposed to go top 5. They're on the same team. We're talking about college basketball. Two guys of that level of basketball should be in the tournament
at minimum.
We're talking college hoops.
I agree.
These two,
I agree.
There's no way you can fight that.
I'm saying I don't watch enough college basketball to tell you why.
Right. So that's my only thing. At some point, it's like, okay, y'all two are obviously very talented, but how do y'all contribute to winning basketball if both of y'all are together and y'all ain't even get to the dance? Like I'm not saying this about a 4. I'm talking about. I'm gonna play basketball. Y'all need what I don't know what NAL got to do with the hardwood. These two kids are supposed to be amazing, and they are very good basketball players. I can see that. But how do y'all win basketball games if both of y'all are together?
I think
but they chose to go to Rutgers because of the NIL money. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They could have went to Sacramento State.
Just to talk about the game,
they could have went to Sac State, and they need to be in the dance. Y'all two together. Why? I don't care what school you went to. It don't matter what school you went to.
First of all, Ace Bailey definitely disappointed. I don't think Dylan Harper is as good as people think they are, but they were both freshmen.
And we're going to spend another 3 pick in the draft on these dudes.
And hang on. And what I want to say is their roster around them was one of the worst college basketball supporting casts I've ever seen in my life, and they played a pretty tough conference. So please understand that element of it before, because the Big Ten is as hard as it gets. You're facing some really, really good teams.
100%.
And you have 2 freshmen, one of whom started the season out atrociously in Ace Bailey, but turned it around later. And Dylan Harper, who's primarily going to, get to the rim and be creator, and he don't got nobody to create for. So he cooked. He did well. And I think people are trying to remove the context. Cade Cunningham didn't win a lot in college basketball.
We're not going to stop right there, Penn. We're not
won more than him,
context. Because this is what you're telling me, Penn. What you're telling me is that. So what you're telling me?
He had 5 stars on his roster.
Mark Howard, man.
Was there 2?
Antonio Blake.
And how did these guys turn out?
I'm talking about 2 top 3 picks. I ain't talking about no 5-star. I don't care the stars. I'm talking about top 3 picks.
Right. Duke had players coming off the bench that were way better.
But you think Zach Edey was the best player in college basketball last year? He was the 9th pick, because obviously being the best in college and being the best NBA prospect aren't synonymous.
Two different
yeah, but you're supposed to be winning games, though. Luka
Garza was the best player in the country. Where was he drafted?
Oscar Tshiebwe was.
You're supposed to be winning games, though.
Being the best
Luka Garza wasn't
prospect
the best player in the country,
and
though.
being
By the
the
way.
best,
Nah, he definitely wasn't.
He was
Being
close.
the best prospect,
being
as you were
the
saying,
best
Mark, keep
prospect
going.
and being the best college player aren't synonymous. And I
Sure.
think we've seen enough with the NBA this season, even
Right.
in the playoffs. Having the two best players on the court doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the game.
Hey, I'm talking college ball.
No,
Mark.
but
I'm talking
in-
college
in
ball.
all-
It's
Having
not
the two
all
best players
basketball.
on we're past the point where you can just have the two best players on the court and just win games all the time.
And
Yeah,
that's
I-
what I want-
No,
and
wait.
Mark,
I want to
I
address that directly. I want to address that directly. In college basketball and high school basketball, the levels are so different. Like even in Division I college basketball, there's a difference in level to where you if you're already coming in. So I understand once the draft is up and we know who's picking where, fit matters. But when you go into the season and everybody's already, these are the top 5 picks, these are top 5 picks, that means that those dudes are typically going to be the best 5 players, the most dominant 5 players. So if you got 2 guys that are at that level, at a level in college basketball, they should be able to lift their team up a lot more than what these 2 did. Now I'm not saying these guys can't play basketball. I just think what Chill asked was a very valid question.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
10
think a lot of. Go ahead.
Keep going, John.
If we
Look
look in the Big Ten, like because that's the conference they're in.
Well,
What team should they have been better?
And Mars, this is the point
They
that I'm
should have
making.
been top 5 in the Big Ten.
And Mars, this is the wait a minute.
Why
Mars,
not? They got 2 of the best players that's in there. I don't. Hold
Okay,
on.
what about
College basketball?
That's not how it works, man.
Why is that not how it works?
Well, hold on. Hang on one second. Is Dylan Harper
right
right now a better player than Walter Clayton Jr.? No, he's not. Is Ace
Yes,
Bailey
he
better?
is. Yes,
You
he
think
is.
Dylan Harper's better than Walter Clayton Jr.?
Yes,
Okay,
I
cool.
do. If you would have put Dylan Harper on Florida team, they would have been doing the same thing.
Okay, cool.
Yes, he
Maybe you can make that argument. Can you make the
Then it
argument?
sounds like he's a winning player then.
Hang on. Can you make the argument that Ace Bailey is a better player than Meek Clifford? Hang on. Is Ace Bailey better than Meek Clifford? No, he's not.
That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing, Mars. That's not the same thing, Mars, because Walter Clayton Jr. is not a top 5 pick. He damn near 25th in undrafted.
My point is,
What?
if you're saying he would do the same thing as Walter Clayton,
No,
he's a
it's
winning
not
player.
about. No, first of all, because y'all
all
want
I
to
said was
argue
make
two
the
different
dance.
things.
All I said was make it to the dance.
Yes.
They should have been in the
Hold on,
dance.
hold on,
I'm not
hold
saying
on.
it should. That's it.
Hold on,
Go ahead,
Ox, because they
go
want to confuse the argument. It's not about Dylan Harper not being a winning player. It's the fact that you're going to draft a non-winning player at number 2 who's supposed to turn your franchise around. That's the problem. When you did
He's
not
still
win
winning
nothing
player
in
or not?
college.
But this
No,
is
he didn't
not-
win shit.
this is
No,
not-
you
when-
can but you can be.
If you're saying he
But
would
you
do the
can.
same thing as Walter Clayton, then he is a winning player.
But that's not what teams
the
are
difference.
doing,
It's
Jordan.
not the same. Hold on, it's not the same because Walter Clayton Jr. is not going to be a top 2 pick. That's the problem.
Is
Walter
Walter
Clayton
Clayton a
Jr.
winning
played
player?
with a bunch of different
Yes,
guys.
They won a national championship.
Yeah,
Yes,
so Walter
they won a
Clayton is a winning player.
They won a
You
national
said
championship.
Dylan Harper would do the same thing. So that means the
Yes.
player is a winning player. The situation he was losing it.
Mars, you're not listening though.
No, we don't.
He's
I
not.
I
Walter
don't want to
Clayton
listen at this
is.
point. Yeah, I don't want to.
Walter Clayton is not a
Sure.
number 2 pick. So
It's not
I
relevant to
wouldn't
how much he's a
expect
winning player. That's
Walter
what I'm
Payton, bro. I wouldn't expect Walter Clayton
Sure.
to go to Rutgers and be good as Dylan Harper. I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not asking
but
you
my
to say
only
that.
thing is I'm trying to answer your question. You want to hear what you want to hear. But what I'm trying to tell you is
I wanna hear
what I'm trying to tell you is if you're that guy, that's like Cooper Flagg being at Duke and they not making a tournament, but he's a consistent number one on pick.
It's a little different though.
If Duke were a bad
Duke
team
had
outside of
Zion
Cooper Flagg,
James,
if
Proctor.
Duke were a horrible team outside of Cooper Flag, and then they didn't make the tournament,
he wouldn't have made the tournament.
Well,
And
maybe
you gotta understand,
and Mars, this is why Mars,
What the hell are y'all talking about?
No, Jordan.
Half of Rutgers roster are
Cooper-
freshmen though.
Yeah,
Like,
if Cooper,
and this
if
is
you
what
drop Cooper Flag in New York at
You said it,
Rutgers,
Sean,
they're not going to be what Duke is.
If Cooper Flag was at Rutgers, they
And
would
I'm
have made
not-
the tournament.
Nobody said they got to be like Duke.
arguing
Nah,
that.
we just said
Mars,
make
no,
it to the dance.
They would have made the
it-
tournament
that I'm
if
making.
Cooper Flag was at
Okay,
Rutgers.
and that's cool. But
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing though.
Here's
Top
also what you guys
prospects
got to
go-
factor in.
top
It's also
pros-
what you guys got to factor in. So John D just said it. It's a bunch of freshmen over there. On top of that, and I know Duke has a lot of freshmen too, but they have these level of freshmen.
Yeah.
Rutgers had these level of freshmen and a couple other young guys. Here's the
They
thing:
had
is it's
two
like
guys that's going to be a top 5 pick.
No, Jordan, we understand that. We understand that, and they're extremely talented. We understand that. My thing is, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at a bunch of 18-year-olds for not being able to step into a new college game. This isn't the old college. This is a new college game.
See, Ron, that's
transfer portal. Hold on, wait. Let me make my point. You don't even know what I'm about to say. You about to jump out the screen. You don't even know what I'm about to say.
Keep going, Ron.
It's the new college game where players are staying longer. This is just factual. Players are transferring more. This is just factual. Teams are building super teams. This is just factual. You have more juniors. You have more seniors. You had the COVID year where there's 5th and 6th year seniors. Yep. I can't be mad at a bunch of 18-year-olds, regardless of how good you guys say they are, regardless of how good everybody hypes them up and all of that stuff, for not being able to carry a bunch of other freshmen and sorry-ass kids to the dance. I understand that their expectations are up here. I understand that. But the reason why I'm bringing out their age is because at 18 years old, you are flawed. These kids have to I don't know if Dylan Harper is a winner or if he's a loser. We don't know that yet because the die isn't cast. All we know is that he's a growing young prospect. So for Ron, us to drop
everything that you said, don't let Ron off the hook with this, because everything you said, that's
Ron
what they're expecting him to do when we get to the next level, and I'm paying you millions and millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars at Rutgers.
You guys are expecting
millions of dollars at Rutgers.
And what happens if he doesn't do it?
Then it was a bust.
Okay, maybe he was a bust in college.
You know why he wasn't a bust in college, Ron? Because one, we only saw him one season. So maybe he ain't ready yet. Maybe he's not ready to get to that level yet. Maybe this is what I'm thinking.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not holding him to that level.
The point that I was trying to make to you, Mars, was exactly that. So now what we're gonna do with this kid is both of these kids who weren't contributing to winning, I'm going to invest a number 2 and a number 3 pick at a better level, not only at a better level, with more at stake, more money to these kids who I'm not even sure what they were doing at college is going to translate to the pros. Am I doing the right thing? Are these guys not ready yet? Am I jumping the gun on these guys? That's the thing that I'm thinking about.
This is the thing, because one, Rutgers team has 9 out of 15 freshmen on the team. Even when they're bringing in freshmen, you look at teams like Duke, like Baylor, with some of these better prospects, they had seniors in there. They had, what's the guy's name? Tyrese Proctor is a 5th-year senior. You know, they have guys like
Sion. They killed the transfer portal and national signing.
They have some of the better transfers coming over from across the country, coming in to play for Duke, having one of the better roster constructed teams in college basketball. When you look at Rutgers and they have 2 freshman prospects that are trying to carry this team full of 7 other freshmen and guys that aren't necessarily making Rutgers their first pick to come over there, I don't necessarily look at the winning and be like, oh, I'm not drafting him because of the winning. Ace Bailey has far more other concerns than just them not being able to win games. Dylan Harper has concerns as well that go far beyond.
Have you ever thought that part of the reason why Rutgers don't win game 2 though is because the way Ace Bailey play? That doesn't factor into your mind that he played bullshit ass basketball at Rutgers and he might play bullshit ass basketball in the NBA.
That's why he's not my top 3 prospect. That's why he's not my top 3 prospect
though.
He's not yours, but he's mine. But
okay.
One thing, Tyrese Proctor was not a
top 5 prospect.
Tyrese Proctor was a junior. He's not a 5th-year senior. He's 21 years old. Number 1. So I just want to correct that. Number 1. Number 2, teams are not drafting players for who they are today. They're drafting them for who they think they're going to be in 5 years. So winning matters, because when I see you in a winning context, when I see you in a tough game, I get more intel on you. Rutgers didn't have meaningful games down the stretch because they were a terrible team. So there's a part of the evaluation with these young players that's maybe missing. That's the same thing that people said about kids coming out of high school. I haven't seen you go to the college level. I haven't seen you get exposed to that level. It's the same thing people were saying about James Wiseman. He only played a handful of games at Memphis, and then he shut it down for the season. That's what people said about Shaedon Sharpe. People said, I didn't see him play. I didn't see him play in college basketball. I don't know what he's going to be. You have to guess. I'm telling you, it's all hypotheticals. So if you want to think that Dylan Harper is trash because he was on a bad team, or Ace Bailey doesn't contribute to winning because he struggled, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, an NBA draft evaluator is saying, I'm looking at Dylan Harper. I'm looking at Ace Bailey. I'm looking at Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford was a winning player. These guys weren't. These guys are going to be better.
I think
right quick, fellas, right quick. I got to tell the people about this beautiful place called PrizePicks. And with PrizePicks, when you play $5, you will get 50 back instantly, but only when you use promo code PANEL. Now, here's the good thing right now with PrizePicks. They have a little thing called takes to tickets, where your takes can take you to the chip, but only on PrizePicks and only when you play a $5 3-pick flex NBA lineup during the playoffs. Now, this promotion is going from April 15th to May 26th. So get in as much as you can for these next 13 days to qualify for a chance to win the sweepstakes and sit courtside at the NBA championship when the Pacers play. Damn, I don't know who the Pacers are going to play, but I know the Pacers are going to be there, and I know that you want to be there. So enter your $5, and when you enter your $5, once again, you'll get 50 back instantly, and you'll use promo code PANEL, and you'll put together something beautiful like this, where $10 turns into $590, and it's 4 demon picks. Ox, you want to talk about this? Let's see you on Demon Time today.
Yeah, man, for the love of the game. First of all, we're going demon picks with Lou Dort made 3-pointers because I believe he's going to keep shooting, and I believe he should keep shooting. Shoot the ball, Lou. We just need you to make 3. We're going to go more also when Nikola Jokic 3-pointers. He thinks he's Steph Curry. Keep shooting the ball, big fella. We only need you to make 3 as well. Miles Turner, who had a great game last game, we just need him to have 12 rebounds and assists. We went more than 11.5. And Andrew Nembhard points and assists. I'm sorry. We got Andrew Nembhard going more than 19.5. All demon time for the love of the game.
So once again, you guys enter your $5 3-pick NBA flex lineup so you can meet us at the NBA Finals. Because here's the thing about it, y'all. Now, it's an app called Gametime, and it's going to be a lot of you guys who enter and don't win the sweepstakes. But how are you going to get to the NBA Finals when, once again, the Pacers make it? And coming out the West, I don't know, let's just say the greatest offensive force ever takes his team to the championship. Well, when the Pacers are playing the Nuggets and the seats are like impossible to get, how do you find a way into that arena to get seats? Well, the thing about it is, it's not really all that hard. You just download the Gametime app, you create an account, and you use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Now, I know it's going to be tough to get into the NBA Finals, but you see, with Gametime, they make getting tickets faster and easier, especially for those hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and they have views from your seats before you purchase them. Oh, and they have the lowest price guaranteed. Gametime quite simply just takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets, and you need to do the same thing. Take the guesswork out and just download the app. Create an account and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but once again, in the words of a great man named Ox, who gives a damn about terms? Rip them up and don't read them, because you can get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today. Get last-minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed, and get in the game. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get back into it. I know we were talking about John, you're muted, but I know we were talking about Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. So let's talk a little bit about what the Spurs, because I know they're projected to be the second and third pick. Let's talk a little bit about who we think that where these guys should go, and who you think that the Spurs should potentially take, and who we think that the Sixers should potentially take. And also, for everybody that's in here, make sure you like the video, turn on your notification bells. We will get to the playoff games that happened last night. We will talk about the Boston Celtics being down 3-1 to the Knicks. We'll talk about Jason Tatum's injury, and we'll talk about Ant-Man looking like he will be heading to back-to-back Western Conference Finals. But fellas, second and third pick, we have the Spurs and we have the Sixers. What should they do?
So I said this earlier, the Spurs have one of the best problems in the NBA, just because You have the second pick in the draft, and now you have the assets to go get a Giannis, to go get a KD, whatever happens. But then you can also stick and pick it too. And there's so many really good prospects in this draft that I don't necessarily hate them sticking and picking, especially with the timeline, and then potentially having 3 straight rookie of the years. Like, Chill, you're the guy that knows this type of thing. Has there ever been a team that had 3 straight rookie of the years? I know Minnesota had Cat and Wiggins who had back-to-back rookie of the years, but has there ever been anybody that had 3 straight?
No.
Like, that's a really big possibility. So you have this young player who's going to be making 13 to 16 million over the next 2 years before he gets extended, and Victor Wembanyama, who's 21 or 22 years old and is a consensus top 10 player at the moment. We'll see how he looks after he comes back from injury next season. But this is a really good position to be in. Either way, the Western Conference is getting, in theory, one of the better guard big duos in the league for the next few years, or they're getting an all-time pairing in the front court with Giannis and Wemby. So they're in a really good position. I haven't necessarily thought deeply into what I would do just yet, but either way, they're in a fantastic position. If I'm
the San Antonio Spurs, because again, this thing is clearly working. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Wemby ended up getting hurt, but if Wemby can stay healthy, it looks like they will. I think they were on their way to winning 42 games this year. If Wemby had stayed healthy,
maybe more.
I think they're on their way to winning 42 games. That was double what they did last year. So, in terms of upgrading, what exactly is it that they need in this draft that's going to help them right now? Is Ace Bailey, is he better than Devin Vassell? And is he going to contribute right away? Because the timeline with this, and they already got a lead guard, so they straight with De'Aaron Fox. So they don't need Dylan Harper.
Don't play the same position, so it will more so be Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan.
Is he better? Is Ace Bailey better? Is Ace Bailey better than any of those small forwards that they have right now?
No. I think Ace Bailey is a big project. I think he's a big project because I like, in theory, Ace Bailey should be a really good player. In theory, with the athleticism, being 6'9", 6'10", having that wingspan, making these
not 6'10". He measured out at 6'7". Barefoot.
But you play basketball in shoes, so he's probably
6'8".
He's about 6'8".
Okay, cool. He's 6'8". He's been listed at 6'10".
They had him at 6'10". They got him at 6'10". That's what make it worse for some of the.
Hey, who is 6'10"? Ace Bailey at 6'10".
Yes, that make it worse.
That was the allure.
He has a small head,
shot making wing, but
damn.
So he's not that big.
So the measurements,
6'8" is still big.
He's a bigger wing.
He's 6'8", a crazy athlete.
He's a big wing.
Yeah, but it's not 6'10".
He's not a crazy athlete.
Ace Bailey
he's a very good
damn good prospect.
I agree. He's a good prospect. He asked about being. He's a
damn good player too.
Keldon Johnson
number
would
2
kill
pick
him
though.
right now. Okay, let's just be real about that. Keldon Johnson would destroy him.
McDaniels is way better than him right now.
He would destroy everybody in the draft, Cooper Flag included.
No, he would not.
Yes, he would. He a dog Cooper Flag.
No, he a dog Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag and in the actual game. Keldon Johnson's a
grown ass man. You gotta understand these are rookies.
Did you see what Keldon Johnson did?
It's very rare that rookies come in and contribute to winning right away.
Because they body just not ready. Their body just not ready for the game.
Like asking Ace Bailey to do it. If we say we don't think he's going to do that, that's not even really a knock on him. Very few rookies are that level of impactful.
Agreed.
From day one. So it's just what can they do long term.
But rookies that did what Cooper did at the college level typically do translate to the NBA as winning players. Carmelo Anthony, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis were all extremely productive.
Generational prospects.
Yeah, I'm not questioning if people think he can be a winning player.
That's what people think Cooper is, and Cooper is physically ready. Cooper's okay, cool. So Ace Bailey is probably not going to contribute to winning for a while. And your hope is that you pick him, and 3-4 years from now, it pops, and it's somewhere between Danny Granger and Paul George. That's what you hope.
No, but I think his ceiling is a lot lower than that, bro. Like I think
than Danny Granger and Paul George. Sure.
But first of all, Danny Granger was a really good player. Danny Granger was a really, really, really good polished player. Number 2, I think Ace Bailey, you got to go lower than that, bro. You got to go.
If you get an MPJ Jabari Smith,
I said ceiling. I said ceiling.
I think that's too high for him right now. I think that's too high for him.
Well, I mean, it's not ceiling. I mean, ceiling is what you.
Okay. Ceiling. I'm talking about. I meant to say floor. His ceiling might be Jabari Smith.
His floor is
Jabari Smith.
No.
Yeah. Am I bugging?
I think so.
Are my
I said
tricks
you get
on
an
me?
MPJ Jabari Smith.
Are y'all out of your mind? The
I think
dude
that's
is
just
6.
silly.
Look, he might not be 6'10". Cool. He might be 6'8", 6'7", 6'9", somewhere in there. The dude is a freak athlete.
He's not a freak athlete.
I think you're using the term freak.
Like Amen Thompson is a freak athlete.
Yeah,
you need to
He
really
don't gotta be Amen Thompson to be a freak
so
athlete.
like, who's the least athletic freak athlete?
I don't know. You could throw names out there. We could try to compare.
He's
him
not
to other
Vince
people.
Carter. He's not Anthony Davis. He's not. Sorry, he's not Anthony Edwards. He's not. He's not. He's not even Cooper Flag, man. Stop it.
Yeah. So like that's why I just feel like freak athletes just being used a bit loosely.
Freak athlete. First of all, Andrew Wiggins is one of the best freak athletes.
Can we?
So John D,
very good athlete.
So John D, you're a draft guy. So I'm on line 1, and I'm the San Antonio Spurs, and you're the Washington Wizards. I'm gonna propose something to you, John D. So I think I'm straight. I think I'm straight with where I am, with the guys that are available. I'm thinking about moving down in the draft, and you being the Washington Wizards, you might want to move up in the draft. How you feel about you take my number 2? I take your number 7, and I take your number 1 next year because you clearly building something, and you clearly trying to build. You 100% trying to build something with this kid Sar, with this kid. But
you know that means they're banking on being a playoff team next year.
Who's banking on being a playoff team?
The Wizards.
Washington. If they trade away their pick next year, they're banking on being a playoff team next year.
Well, here's the difference, Mars.
That's just not happening.
This is what I'm saying. So with you. And this is why I'm trying to move down, because I'm trying to get another. I'm trying to swindle you at a number 1 pick.
Yeah,
and you're screwing it up. And you're screwing it up. Thank you very much.
Trust me. Chill.
Thank you very much.
Shall not be swindled.
That's what I was trying. I'm trying to swindle you at a 2-1s because I'm trying to get you to move up so I can move down to the 7 pick, get what I need, which is a small forward. Because I know, John D, that I know that there's a small forward at the 7 spot that you've been doing some homework on, or the San Antonio Spurs have been doing some homework on, that they can bag, that can enhance their team, which would guarantee them to probably be a player. Not guarantee, but they'll probably be a playoff team next year. You could take my number 2 pick. I'll take your 7, and I'll take your number 1 next year. It sounds like a great idea because you now your guy in Ace Bailey, and you building with Ace Bailey, you building with Sar, you building with this kid Bilal, you're building with Jordan Poole. And with you doing that, we all get what we want. And you throw me that number 1 in for next year, depending on where it is.
See, the thing is, Chill, though, like there might be a player at 6 that I want, and then next year we get
South Sudanese center. Is that who you
yes, he might be at that number 6 pick. How
where
I
I stand with Malawach.
I can't give it up. I get Kaman Malawach this year,
draft,
and then we get like a top 2 pick next year. Now Darren Peterson is a Washington Wizard.
The best defense.
He's going number 1.
Okay.
Damn, you on Darren Peterson already?
Then just looking at what's available in the 26 draft, if we stick and pick, Malawach is there. Then we have a starting lineup going into the 26-27 season of Bub, Darren Peterson, Bilal, Sar, and Kaman. Come on, we building something. I don't gotta get Dylan right now. I don't gotta get him right now. We building.
I don't hate it.
You're gonna need some offense in there at some point. But
I don't hate it.
Darren Peterson gonna be the offense.
As I said,
I haven't seen much of him, but
I think 2 to 12 is pretty flat. I know that people are really, really high on Dylan and Ace and VJ, and they have this consensus top 4 in their mind. Yep. But I really think that you could really sell yourself on different players throughout this draft and say they could be better. John D's mentioned Kaman Malawach. He just measured out with a 7'7" wingspan yesterday. 7'7" wingspan, 7'2" in shoes. That is a huge player, and he was a very good defender at the college level. He's also a really good offensive rebounder. He also has a lot of shooting upside, as he showed with the South Sudanese team last year at the Olympics.
Just watching that film.
I mean, he's awesome. But there's some players that some people were pretty down on this year, like Yegor Demon. Players like Nolan Traore. Traore had been shooting like 44%.
I thought Yegor was going to be better.
Yegor might be better. I mean, Yegor's context is different. Yegor might be the best passer.
He might be a better NBA player than a college player.
He's the best passer in the draft, and he measured great. He measured 6'8.5" in barefoot. Yeah. So he's like damn near 6'10". He's huge, 6'10". and he could probably play a little bit of point for you at the next level. So you got him, you got Colin Murray Boyles, you got Rasheer Fleming, you got a ton of players, and Thomas Sorber is another huge winner of the measurements yesterday. He measured out with a 7'6" wingspan, 7'6" wingspan for Thomas Sorber, 265.
Before we move off of Thomas Sorber, one of the most polished drop coverage defenders I've seen in this draft, Thomas Sorber. Protecting the rim without fouling, Thomas Sorber. Being physical enough to get your opposing center in foul trouble, Thomas Sorber. Fantastic rebounder.
A Georgetown Hoyas center, bro.
He's really good.
I've seen a lot of prospects in college that I really like, especially at the wing position, but I like them in the later rounds. I mean in the later picks, like in the late first round, early second round, just based off of I know how the draft is gonna go. But it's a couple centers that I see them do things in college that when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get that off in the NBA, and that game is gonna change. Like I like Milo Watts, but like I told Penn a long time ago, I know that they're gonna pick him that high. But I'm saying if I had to think about it, I don't think he would go that high, but he is. So it's like I know it, but at the same time, he has a very low motor to me. His motor is kind of low. As far as like rebounding outside of your area, like for his size, he doesn't get very many rebounds like that. You know,
also not much of a playmaker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to be a playmaker. Also, I don't want him to be much of a playmaker.
Well, I mean, in this draft, you have centers who are good playmakers. Thomas Sorber.
I agree, and that's what I was going to say.
Derek Queen, a good playmaker.
Derek Queen is a pretty good player.
Danny
Wolf is nice, but Danny Wolf is nice. I can see him sliding out of the top 15 though. I can see him sliding.
Danny definitely going past the 15, but
yeah, I see him going like 20.
Colin Murray Boyles projects as maybe an undersized center at the next level. He measured out 6'7" ish in shoes.
Yeah, that's a problem. That undersized center stuff sucks.
But I think he's got over the season. I think Colin Murray Boyles has gotten much better as a driver, though. Just being able to control his ball handle and get downhill consistently, because you have a strength advantage, at least towards the other college players, that I think can translate to the NBA. He's also a really good rebounder and a versatile defender. So offensively, if he can get like the path in the lane to drive to the rim, I think he's gotten a lot better in that aspect. But as far as the jump shot, that's going to be a work in progress, and the handle is going to be a work in progress. Even though he gotten better, I don't think he's ready to necessarily attack defenses with the ball on the floor just yet. And then it's like, where do you make him valuable offensively if he's not going to have that consistent handle, and he's not going to be able to use that strength that he did in college? So that's going to be interesting. But as a defender, I'm completely bought in on him.
Look, I watched
before we change topics, and before I start reading super chats, and before we get to the 3-1 series, I'm running a poll right now, and it's what should the Spurs do? Draft Harper, draft Bailey, or trade the pick? I guess I probably should have put drafted another player, but either way it goes, 54% of you guys are voting to trade the pick, 29 saying draft Harper, and 17 saying draft Bailey. Well, I want to do the same thing, but for the Philadelphia 76ers, who have the third pick, before we move on. So I'm going to run that poll, and I'm going to ask you guys, what's the best case scenario for the Sixers? What do you think is going to happen? What should they do with that third pick? John?
My bad. I raised my hand and shit. Anyway, I would trade back a couple of picks just because I don't think Ace Bailey this is a team that's going to be projected to go to the playoffs as soon as they're fully healthy. I don't think Ace Bailey is the best player to try and contribute to winning right now. And then it's like, if you can get a Hall and then move back and get a Rasheer Fleming or a Liam McNeely or a Con Knipple, who I think play better towards winning basketball. They know their role. They thrive in their role. I think that would be better. I think Houston might be like a team where it's like, hey, we'll move up. Or Portland, hey, we'll move up. Move back a couple of spots and go get those guys. But I don't love the Ace Bailey fit. I can see it if you want him to sit behind PG for a couple of years. But if you want someone to contribute right now, I don't know if Ace Bailey is the right pick.
I think VJ could be a good fit for them. I was a little bit scared that VJ would measure out a little bit short. Sometimes when I looked at him at Baylor, he ended up measuring out about 6'5".
Wow,
that's not bad.
That's good. No, that's really good. I thought he was like 6'3".
No, he measured out 6'4" and change barefoot, so 6'5" and change. So he's got decent size. He's a great athlete. Now, you want to talk about freak athletes? VJ Edgecombe is a freak athlete. That's a freak athlete. Okay, I don't want to use that term lightly. He's and again, I think it really matters the context of college programs. You have to look at past Baylor guards, how they translated to the NBA level. I think Baylor does a really good job of hiding their players in a sense. Like they don't really show all they can do. But if you watch VJ for Bahamas last year, when you watch, what he did at high school, I think VJ Edgecombe is probably the number 3 pick in this draft. And you could question how he fits with Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, but I don't think you got to think about that too hard right now. I realize Daryl Morey making this pick, so he's a guy who cares about shot making a lot, so he might even go off the board and shock y'all and take Trey Johnson.
I think he'll get it. I think he's gonna end up getting a big. I think the 76ers is gonna end up getting a big. By the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Malowitz end up going there, even though they got a Dim Bona. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, you know what, we're gonna draft a big. I just would not be surprised at that point because they got so many guards that can do like the same thing as far as VJ Edgecombe. But I want to say you was cooking with that Baylor thing because I love my man Scott Drew, one of my favorite coaches of all time. But he will make sure your ass don't get drafted the year he wants you to get drafted. Unless he can't help it. But it's the reason why he had a streak where he had a player going to draft every year. It's the reason why. I'm just saying, I know from experience. I know a couple guys. I know a couple things.
A lot of coaches got programs too, though, and y'all know how that goes.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
I'm not necessarily dumbing you down, even though like the program might be dumbing you down, but that's not like my purpose as a coach.
Jacoby had a lot of wiggle in his game.
Program, and when you come in here, you got to be a part of the program. You're not the program.
Sometimes they want you to come back the next year.
That can be the case too.
That's a part of it. Yeah.
Jacoby entered the pre-draft. The preseason last year as a top 5 pick. A lot of people thought Jacoby Walter would be that level of player. By the end of his Baylor season, he was the 19th pick, and he slipped down draft boards because everyone thought he couldn't create shots and he couldn't pass the basketball. Comes out in his rookie season, looks like he can pass the basketball again. Looks like all that tape from Link was perfectly fine. So that's just it. Like with Baylor, what I'll say is VJ was so much better at Baylor than Jacoby was. So if I'm looking at that, I'm just like, damn, VJ might be better than Dylan, bro. So just look at that. And if I'm the Sixers, I'm gauging interest for that third team. Maybe there's a team that falls in love with either VJ or Ace or someone like that, and they give you a haul that you can't refuse. So moving down is an option, but I would take VJ.
I don't think the Sixers will, though. I think they're gonna get a big pin. I think they're gonna just draft a big.
Mars, would you give me the kid and Wiggins for the number 8 pick?
No.
Who has the 8 pick?
Brooklyn.
No.
Mars, give me the kid, Mars.
Why would I do that?
Come on,
Brooklyn
Mars.
can draft their own
Give me the
kid.
kid, Mars.
What kid?
No, Mars. We want that kid.
Run it, Mars.
You want Jason Kidd? What kid?
Give me the
He
kid.
wants Nikola Topic, but Brooklyn can draft their own.
Cough up the kid.
They got the 8th pick. Go draft their own kid. What they need mine for?
Because you're not going to need it. You're not going to use them.
You ain't the dad over there.
Then what would I use the 8th pick for?
Smart.
Put him on the fly, man.
Yeah, I'm
Mars,
not
put him on the
I'm
flight.
Mars
going
is
to
a
give you
stepdaddy.
this kid. Take the 8th pick and drop it. What's the point?
Put him on the flight, Mars.
I mean,
Oh,
Brooklyn
oh,
at 8.
yeah.
Brooklyn at 8 has a chance to draft their point guard of the future easily. They could easily take Kasparas Yakuchonis. They could easily take Jeremiah Fears. Jeremiah Fears is a pretty interesting athlete.
Fierce and the other kid. Is he better than
Interesting
Topic?
me with Jeremiah Fears.
Look,
man.
I think look, Nikola Topic is my countryman, so I just want to say I'm a little bit biased when I say
Take
this,
the bias
okay?
off. Take the let's say
Let me take the bias off.
Take the bias
I
off.
watch-
Is he better than these 2 kids in the draft?
There's a chance that he's not. There's a chance that he's not.
What's the like in your estimation, Penn? Because you follow the draft. What's the likelihood that Topic is going to be better than these 2 kids? If you had to,
So
pick,
is he actually playing? Is he actually going to play?
First
Next
of
year
all,
he'll be available.
First of all, as an asset, Topic has
So we
already
don't know if he'll
expired
play or
one
not.
entire year of his rookie
Oh,
contract.
which-
So that's
no
worth
big
it.
deal.
But he also got a year under
Yes, sir.
the Thunder's development, which is good.
Mhm.
It's good, generally good for a young player. So
100%.
let's balance those things as neutral. It's a 0.
Yeah.
I think his jump shot is really funky, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Topic's jump shot is funky, and in at the NBA level, if you can't shoot and you're not a crazy athlete, you're probably gonna get schemed. He's also not a good defender. So I think Jeremiah Fears, a player who was a part of he should have been in the 2025 class. He reclassified to 2024, and he was phenomenally productive. Phenomenally productive. He's twitchy. He loves to play defense. I don't care about his 28% or whatever he shot from 3. His shot difficulty was really hard.
He can't shoot neither. Okay.
No, he
Hey, wait a second though. His form is butter. I like Jeremiah Fears' shot form, and the way he can get to the rim. Honestly, he has a lot in common with Topic. It's just he's smaller than Topic. He measured about 6'3".
I was just about to say Jeremiah Fears is small, man. That's my only thing with him. Like I like Jeremiah Smith. He's not small, but
he's 6'3".
He's not as big. He's not as big as you want him to be, Jordan.
He's not as big as I would like him to be.
So go draft. Go draft. Kasparis. Go draft Nolan Traore. Look,
yeah, that is a crazy pause.
I think we're having a fascination with 6'7", 6'10" point guards. 6'3" is a good sized point guard.
It's a good size.
But hold on, Ron. Like
6'3" is not a small point guard.
No,
you're right. But I'm gonna say this. But I'm gonna say this though.
It's just not.
Ron, I'm gonna say this at the same time. At the same time, when I say he's not as tall as I like him to be, I'm basically going off of when I see.
You would like him to be.
Bro, he's still 18. He might grow.
But
he might grow. Jordan.
He might grow. But hold on. But it's just as far as like when I see 6'3" and under point guards, I really like them to be more of a passers, unless they're like really, really gifted scorers. Like to me, like, and this is just my bias in it because I'm just groomed that way from what I think works. When you 6'3" and under, he averaged 17 and 4. Like 17 is amazing in college because it's hard to score like that in college. But I need you to get 17 and 7, 17 and 6, 17 and 8, like something like that. Like I like guards that's 6'3" and under to be better playmakers and passers. Now Jeremiah Fears at the next level. What is y'all ceiling that y'all think he can be as a playmaker? Like that's like I like Jeremiah Fears, but when I see him as a playmaker, I don't know.
Y'all see now, Jordan, you start getting into it. That's what I wanted to hear. Like, what can he do again? Because for a second, y'all was sounding like how the dude walk up to the girls on the street and be like, "What's your dream guy?" And they'd be like, "Oh, he got to be over 6'4". He got to make this much money. He got to do this. Yeah, that's cool and all. But can the kid play ball? You know what I mean? That's
he can play basketball. He can play basketball. I just like I'm not sold that his scoring in the NBA. Like. Y'all was up here yapping y'all ass off about Rob Dillingham this, Rob Dillingham that, and I told y'all his ass was not gonna play. And
I'll
look,
still stand with what I said.
But y'all yapping y'all ass off about it. So at the same time,
Mike Conley ain't gonna
Jeremiah Fears, like you right, but I don't know if they just gonna say Rob, you up next. But Jeremiah Fears is like, okay, you Rob Dillingham. Like the thing that probably could have had Rob Dillingham play a little bit more could have been his playmaking, could have been his defense. Like. That's what I want to know about this kid, Jeremiah Fears. I like him too. Like I really do like Jeremiah Fears. I'm not even like he made some big plays. He made some big shots. Toughness to me is everything. Like that's why, and not to derail it, but that's why I changed my tune on Tyrese Halliburton. Like I'm off that overrated shit. Toughness shows me everything, bro. So that's what I want to see from Jeremiah Fears.
That was quick as hell.
I changed my tune on him because when you start talking shit about a player. When you start talking shit about a player and y'all everybody want to say this and say that, and he responded the way he responded and dropped his nuts on everybody. Hey, bro,
he did this.
I respect you, bro. I'm gonna respect you, bro. Like I got utmost respect for people who get shitted on and they respond well. They don't cry, make excuses. Like Tyrese said, man, people don't say what they want to say. Yeah, overrate that. Like he said, I get paid a lot of money to play the game. Same with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum bounced back. Y'all gotta respect Jason Tatum bouncing back, even though he probably messed up his Achilles. But you gotta respect him bouncing back
game
with
last
a 45-point game.
Yeah. He was balling too. He went out like the G. I was happy for JT last night.
Come on now,
I mean,
like y'all gotta be able to respect
happy,
shit like that.
But
and fellas,
so that's what I want from Jeremiah Fears, though. By the way, that's just how I'm summing it up.
Jeremiah gonna be successful. I think he works way too hard. And I'll give you one more name that a lot of people. I really brought this guy up as a top 10 pick before people were talking about him as a top 20 pick, and that's Carter Bryant. Look, when you do the intel on these guys, and I've been spending 6 months watching full games, reaching out to people who covered these guys, as many people as I can get my hand on in terms of like people around their circle, from their family members, whoever. I just want to know everything I can about this draft because I want to be right about who these players are. I think these two kids work really hard, and whatever you think about them as college players, I think their games translate very well to the NBA level.
Oh, and by the way, you ain't 30% for three. That shit kind of trash too.
I'm not stalking anybody, but I'll reach out.
That's not exactly what I was gonna say. But you ain't hit up dude's cousins, baby.
All right, John D.
Hey, what you know about this?
Yes,
Hey, Jeremiah Fear shooting
but when-
under
but when you-
30% is
No,
kinda nasty.
that's good
lie.
report. I'm
That's
just
kinda trash.
when you
making
start
I'm just
when
gonna
you
do
start
that.
posting about people, sometimes their friends will reach out to you. Sometimes
Yeah.
their family members might reach out to you. Their dad might reach out to you and be like, "Yo, thanks for supporting my son," etc.
Hell yeah.
And then you start up a conversation. They read up your platform. They see you doing good work, and they give you a little bit of tidbits about, oh, this team be creeping, this team be calling, this team be scouting, and I seen this team. So this is the way the entire draft world works, right?
Yeah,
So
nah, that's
yeah,
what's up. That's
all
what's
I'm
up.
saying is
I
people
was
gonna
just playing.
people gonna look at Carter Bryant at Arizona. They're gonna see a player come off the bench, average 6.6 points per game, and they might see this kid go lottery, and they might say, "What the hell are we doing here?" I'll tell you.
You know, that's
Russell Westbrook came
that's
off the
also-
bench.
Yes, he did.
That's also
Zach LaVine wasn't
when
that great at
you
UCLA
when
either.
you
So did
think when you
Scotty.
think about that too, like when you think about that, just kind of from like another aspect, like for instance, like what you do, Penn, what you be doing, Jordan, and even like John D too, like you got to think about that. Like I know if my son was 17, 18, or about to go to college or in college, and they balling, and I seen like YouTube people like on YouTube that are reporting and doing good work and like actually taking an interest, like I would definitely holler at you like, yo, I appreciate it, you know what I'm saying? And if you got any questions, you know what I'm saying, I would definitely do that. So like that's just having doing good work and people taking notice. So that's a shout out
For sure.
Hey,
For sure.
hey,
This is a
Ox,
relationship business.
Mark
No doubt.
Sears from Bama. Mark Sears from Bama. His dad, I mean his parents tapped in with me. But Mark Sears is too. The kid, DeJuan Harris from Kansas, like all of them tapped in too, based off of what I do on social media, because like that matters like a lot.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I thought DeJuan Harris was gonna be, I still think he's a hell of a point guard. I said it though back then, though, I don't think he's an NBA point guard right now, but I think he's a hell of a point guard like at the pro level. Mark Sears the same way. I think he could be an NBA point guard, maybe a two-way guy, maybe a second round guy. He can really shoot the damn basketball. But at the same time, that social media shit, what Ox is talking about, bro, that shit matters, bro. You wouldn't be surprised. You'd be surprised like how many college athletes follow me, like from Kentucky or BYU. Like you'd be surprised. Like that shit matters a lot.
A lot of these kids,
Jordan, right quick, Penn, I just want to plug you guys' channels. Where can we find you guys at?
It's the Drench Man, not the French Man on Drench Man Sports. You know it. Come on now, all over the place. Come on, Mars. Don't roll your eyes now. Don't roll your eyes. I'm pulling up to Mars Talk Sports. Don't roll your eyes. I told you. I'm inviting myself.
I seen you in the chat the other day.
Yeah, I want my wrench too.
In the chat. Yeah,
give me my goddamn wrench. You got guys in the chat with a wrench. What the hell? I'm like,
no wrench, man.
Hey, Mars.
You may be the wrench man, but you know the wrench man for sure.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, Mars.
Yeah, Mars. Yeah, Mars.
Mars with the bars.
I like
Mars.
that.
That is crazy, bro.
Mars.
I already too many allegations about being French and shit, and now you gonna throw some more in there? That's crazy.
Yo, Penn, where can the people find you at and your good, basketball analysis, draft coverage, and all of that good stuff?
You can find me at Pensar Basketball on X, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Just want to say something that I think Chilltown Hoops is going to really like. Carter Bryant's father is Deshane Bryant. Deshane Bryant coached Kawhi Leonard in high school. This kid grew up around the sport. His whole family are athletes, volleyball players, D1 athletes. Really hardworking kid. So, again, look out for this name in a few years. Y'all be telling me I'm a genius because I spotted
a kid. Are you possibly saying this because you think the Raptors are going to draft him?
I'm trying to speak this damn shit into existence, bro. Because let me tell you something. The Raptors have had the number 9 pick 3 times. Who they draft? Tracy McGrady, DeMar DeRozan, and Jakob Poeltl. All right, all 3 very productive players. One a little less productive than the other 2. I just think Carter fits very well into the Raptors' trajectory of drafting number 9 picks. I love Carter. I think he's apart from Cooper, I think he's the most impressive defender. He did things this year defensively that I had to double take. I was like, how did he get there? I don't know how he did that. He ripped centers. He ripped point guards in the open court. He's a really good shooter. And you know what I love about him? And again, this is where you get into the deeper stuff. He went to Arizona without a commitment on playing time. He didn't ask for one. He was a 5-star recruit, and he agreed that I will earn my playing time, and if you don't think that I deserve to start, don't start me. I love that.
I'm sorry.
That's pushback.
So what you did what you were supposed to do?
No, that's
no, but
that's
a lot
not,
of kids don't do that no more. A lot of kids don't do
kids-
that.
That's
no more.
yeah. So
It's
what
old
I'm
school
saying,
as
what I'm
hell,
saying
Ox.
is that's the problem. Not
Yeah,
in
that's a
my
fact.
view, shout out to this kid. Shout out to this kid for being a person. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to him for not thinking he was too big for that or whatever. I'm just saying, like,
he's a McDonald's.
them
All-American.
other dudes are the problem.
But Ox, he's a 5-star, and 5-stars command a lot of money in NIL, and they could make a lot of demands about playing time and all that stuff. And he could have said to their coach, "You want me? Start me. You don't want me? I'm not. I'm going somewhere else where they're going to start me." Players make demands like this on their visits all the time. That's just the economics of college basketball today. And so for him to say, "I am here to learn basketball. Coach me. My dream is to play at Arizona. My family played at Arizona. I want to play at Arizona. You use me how you want to use me." And he took whatever role, and he had the hardest job on defense, and he just guarded his ass off, and he didn't have no ego about him. I think that all this stuff translates to him being very coachable. I promise you that the draft workouts and the pro days matter. When these general managers meet this kid, I will tell you they will fall in love with him. He is a hardworking, humble-ass kid. You would never know he was a 5-star recruit. He carries himself like a 0-star. And I'm telling you, like, the athleticism is real with this guy. He's very fluid. Maybe didn't measure out as well as I would have wanted him to, but very fluid athlete. His jumper is Jason Tatum. 100%. It is the 100% Jason Tatum package. So he's not as good as Jason Tatum as a freshman. I'll agree with that.
Sure.
He has a lot of creation responsibilities that maybe, his handle is not as tight, but I think he'll get there one day. I think he'll be a very, very productive starter. He actually reminds me a little bit of Tamani Kamara, actually. Yeah.
All right. Y'all make sure to like the video, turn on your notification bells, and also shout out to our Hall of Famers. We got Vale. We got Teddy Hart. We got my man Multi Kenny. Salute to all of you guys because, well, you guys are, well, quite frankly, the GOATs. Jason Grills, Worldwide Mace TV, Minor and Cheese. Salute to all of you guys. I'm about to get into these super chats, and we are going to talk about these series, and we'll talk about Jason Tatum. Chill, Mars. Before we move on, and while we're still here with the lottery, I ran the poll and I asked, what would the Sixers do? Draft Ace, pray for Harper to fall to 3, trade the pick, or draft another player? 38% said draft Ace, 29% said trade the pick, 18 said pray for Harper, and 15 said draft another player. But there's one thing that I think that the Philadelphia Sixers should heavily consider. And you guys just bear with me right quick. Because the thing about it is Tyrese Maxey's a good young player. Jared McCain was on his way to Rookie of the Year. And you guys have the third pick, which you got luck. You lucked your way into the third pick. One could argue Embiid got hurt, and Paul George wasn't Paul George, and your team fell apart. So you last year you didn't even think you would have a number 3 pick. You have one right now. My thing is, I would actually double down on the young talent and get the hell off of Paul George and get the hell off of Joel Embiid.
I'm out on both of them dudes, and I'm starting over.
I want to know.
I already got my point guard, right? I already got my point guard in Maxey. I'm good there. And I think that this thing with him and McCain can work in the backcourt with McCain playing off the ball. I do think that can work, right? So now it's just a matter. Now it's just a matter of continuing to build off the both of those guys. I'm probably not going to find a suitor for Paul George at that money. At 34 years old, 35 years, I think he's turning 35 this year. Either 34 or 35 this year at $200 million. It's going to be hard to move off of him. I do think that I do think that there's some space where I can find a suitor for Joel Embiid, because I think that there's somebody who will bite. And I think that I think it's possible that I could possibly get something back for Joel Embiid. But I'm out on both of those guys.
Sure, he's damaged. He's damaged good. So
yeah,
and I mean that with all due respect. But
he is.
He is. And you're not going to get top dollar for Joel Embiid. But if you're looking to rebuild, you got the number 3 pick. You got 2 very good, one player who's an all-star level player, and then you got Jared McCain, who was one of the better rookies in his class.
Ron, if I could get if I could get 60 cents on the dollar for Joel Embiid, I'll take it.
You take what you can get.
I'm good with that.
No, Joel Embiid gonna sit his ass right in Philly for 60 cents on the dollar.
Hey,
no,
Jordan. Hey, because that 60 cents, if you keep playing around and waiting, you didn't already waited and it got to 60
And on top of that, I
he's
can
60 cents though. That like the problem with it is he's 67% when he playing. Like when he playing, he can look like the best in the world. It's just he might not be playing. So shit, you gonna pay me $4 for this broke down Lamborghini?
Jordan, I'll buy his ass out.
I ain't doing that.
No, I'm not doing that neither.
See,
I'll buy him out
money to pay.
Get out of my facilities. You're not welcome here anymore.
Hold on, Ox. Because you the one who said shut them down. Don't bring them back this year. Relax them. You know, it's a good business model. Now you talking about you gonna buy his ass out.
I've been wanting to get rid of Joel Embiid for 5 seasons now, Jordan. I was just that conversation was one of those best case scenario type conversations. This is a postseason. What are we gonna do with Joel type conversation? And my mom saying get him out of here. The same thing I said about Ben Simmons a couple years ago. Get out of my facility. You don't bring the right type of energy around here. Like just leave. We don't want you.
Yeah, I agree with the Ben Simmons. It's time for Mars to agree with me, though. Mars don't never want to agree with that Ben Simmons shit. Mars, I need somebody to love me,
What you want me to say about Ben Simmons?
And Mars love Ben Simmons. That's what I need.
I love Ben Simmons for saying he's a good passer and defender, and that's the only things he does well.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think he plays defense well? You don't?
No, I think he don't. I don't think he's an NBA player. That's what.
Do you think? Okay. Do you think Ben Simmons is a good defender?
He all right. He ain't too much.
Do you think he's a
good all right? He ain't no great at nothing. He all right.
Yeah, then I just disagree with you. That doesn't mean I love Ben Simmons. I think he's good at passing and good at playing defense.
Do you think? All right, I got a question for you. Do you think he should be in the NBA?
For a minimum, yeah. Which is what he's making. I think Ben Simmons is one of the 450 best basketball players in the world. Yes. I think for a minimum contract. I think for a minimum contract, he makes sense. For the 40 million he was making, ridiculous. He was the most overpaid player in the league. Absolutely. But for a minimum, I don't see the problem with Embiid with Ben Simmons being in the NBA.
Oh, I mean, I guess so. That's you. I think
I don't think
he's going to stay on the minimum. I don't think he's going to stay on the minimum. I think he's on the minimum because of how his money played out, and it just wouldn't mind. And it just wouldn't.
I mean, if a team gives him 2 years, 12 million, I'm not like, oh my god, like.
You think he's a 2 year, $12 million guy?
I don't know. He is whatever a team offers him. Maybe a team doesn't offer him and goes plays overseas, but maybe he goes and retires. I don't know what Ben Simmons is going to do. I just think Ben Simmons is a solid basketball player. I don't think he's good in the NBA. I don't think he's been good for a few years, but I think he does some things well. And I think for 40 million he was making, he was ridiculously overpaid. But I think acting like he can't do anything at the NBA level is wrong. I don't think he's all right as a passer, and I don't think he's all right as a defender. I think he's really damn good at both of those things. The issue is
really damn good.
Having them be the having them be the only things I think you're good at an NBA level, and you won't look at the rim, you won't even try to score. You lack any sort of aggression, and you're not a good off ball player.
Doesn't help us at all, yo.
Yeah, like that's the reason why he's a detrimental player. I can agree with that, but he does things at the NBA level, and I don't think that means I love Ben Simmons for saying it. I think that's just.
I'm not mad at anyone who doesn't want Ben Simmons on their team. I totally get it. There's a lot of baggage.
Me too. I understand it too.
And to the point of did he play okay? I think he played all right this year. I certainly don't think he's like worse than a lot of players who play in the NBA. There's a lot of young guys in the NBA who don't hold the candle to Ben right now. But I understand. Okay.
Give me one.
Bronny James. You think Bronny James better than Ben Simmons? He has a roster
spot. The same fucking shit. I mean, shit, you play him the same amount of minutes. It's the same shit.
Come on now.
You play the same damn amount of minutes as Ben Simmons. Shit, why not?
But I think the concern is valid that you cannot have a player who's not even looking at the rim. You can't have that player who's a negative spacer. But Ben does enough with the connective passing and even some of the initiation stuff and the positional versatility where he can guard 3-4 positions. I think there's still some value there. I just don't think it's like $20 million a year value. I
agree, absolutely. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the league next year. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, someone didn't pick up Ben Simmons. Like,
yeah. This is nuance. Like, this is cool. Like I think y'all both saying the same thing, but one of you is expecting some crazy revelation where, like, I don't know, Jordan, you want Mars to say like, yeah, Ben's a bum, send him to China, and it's just like it's not. He'd be the best.
No, but I didn't heard Mars say that about a lot of people though. I didn't heard Mars say that bums about a couple players. So I just want to know why he can say that about them guys and he don't say it about Ben Simmons. He said it about Kevin Porter Jr. and then he won't say it about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is way worse than Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah, he is worse than Kevin Porter Jr.
No, way worse. Not worse. He way worse.
Sure. I think Kevin Porter Jr. A lot of it comes from the fact that I don't like him. Similar with Miles Bridges. I think that's an objective thing. I also think that a lot of the NBA players I have called bums, I think definitely is hyperbolic and just wrong, to be honest. But based on that same standard, if I were to call a guy like Kevin Porter Jr. a bum, based on purely basketball ability, Ben Simmons would, by definition, also be a bum. Cool.
It makes me happy.
You brought up Miles Bridges and Kevin Porter Jr. Does it have to do with? Okay, I got you.
Absolutely,
that's valid. That's valid.
But y'all, we about to get into these super chats though, and before we do that, I just want to let you guys know how and why Cooper Flag is in Dallas. If you feast your eyes on the screen, you can read it quite well. This is what happened. The call was made, and the actions were put in. So. Welcome to Dallas, Cooper Flag.
Damn, why it look like Adam Silver just had been like Adam Silver should be in
because it's cold outside.
It's cold.
He's in Toronto.
He's Caucasian, Jordan.
Man, hell no. He looked like he's supposed to be in trial in New York with that man, Sean. What the hell? It looked like he just came from one of them.
He probably did.
I mean, goddamn, Adam, you gotta clean up a little bit. Shit. I mean, damn, Adam looked like he had a rough night. Need the IVs. Pull that picture back up, Ron. I need to see that shit one more time. I thought he had a robe on.
Jordan,
that's an overcoat. That's an overcoat and a scarf.
Man, he need to shave his head, all kind of shit, man. What the hell?
He ain't a model.
Not only that, Drench ain't used to be in it. Drench ain't used to be where it's 20 degrees outside. So
I don't want to be.
He ain't used to that. So when it's cold outside, your look could be a little bit different, especially in your face, brother. I'm just saying.
When you're European American. Your nose, your ears, they turn red and whatnot. Even your cheeks get a little rosy.
Ron, can I address the chat really quickly? Because you dudes are ridiculous. You want to smoke with me? You got it. You absolutely have to smoke with me. I based my analysis off what I had seen. Kawhi Leonard had broke down 3 of the last 4 seasons when I said that. That's number 1. Number 2.
Yeah, Chad, press him, Chad.
I never wished anything on these dudes. I said it based on what I had seen from Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant had tore his Achilles. Kevin Durant hamstring. He started breaking down. That's what I was basing it on. I wasn't wishing these dudes no injuries. I was basing my analysis off what they were doing. For you to say that I was wishing these dudes injuries, it just says so much more about how dizzy you are as a dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't contribute anything to this show. You don't contribute anything to anything that's going on here. Nobody cares about you. All they care about is us. Nobody knows who you guys are until I address you. So shut the hell up talking to me.
Damn.
All right, y'all. We got
and
some
I hope
super
you
chat.
break your legs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I got a super chat from Drink More Water. He said the term winning player is so overused. And what people really mean is this player is playing well on a good team. Jordan, coming out of college, was Anthony Edwards a winning player? And is he a winning player now?
See, you know the difference between now. Yes, 100%. But you know the difference between Anthony Edwards coming out of college rather than somebody like. And by the way, I've been saying I like Dylan Harper a lot. By the way, I've been saying that a lot. I think he's the most NBA ready player. But I was just answering the question from Chill asking about them guys not winning shit in college. Like, should we consider that? And I'm saying yes. So for Dylan Harper, certain talent you can kind of look over. For a guy like Ace Bailey, you can't. Now to address the Anthony Edwards thing, if you saw Anthony Edwards in college. And you saw the way he played, it was a consensus that he should have been the number 1 pick. A consensus. Not for a guy like Dylan Harper or goddamn Ace Bailey for sure. But Anthony Edwards, consensus, it was nobody in college better than him. This is number 1. First of all, his body type was already ready. That's number 1. That's some of the things you got to look at. The body type. You got to look at the way he scored the ball at a gifted level. Got to look at the way he shot the ball at a gifted level. Even the way he defended his athleticism. He checking 5 boxes. 5. That matters the most.
You're a lot higher on Anthony Edwards as a prospect than I was. But
Yeah.
But also I saw Anthony Edwards play in high school too. So like sometimes when
wasn't he the number one player in the country coming out of high school?
Yes. No, he was a top 5 player, but he wasn't number 1. But he was top 5.
I wasn't.
I'm sorry.
But his athletic. But if you saw his athleticism in high school, the way he jumped out the gym, like certain shit, like Andrew Wiggins, when Andrew Wiggins was in high school, everybody like all that shit jumped out the gym for Andrew Wiggins. But when you see certain things and you check these 5 boxes, now it's like, okay, I understand why they didn't win very many games. Like I understand that.
He averaged almost as many turnovers as he had average assists. He shot 29% from 3. He shot 40% from the field, and all of that didn't matter to you. I get you, Jordan. What I'm saying is when you see a kid play in high school and you see him dominate at that level, you watch his college tape with rose-colored glasses. I agree with you that Anthony Edwards was like the best prospect in the draft. He was definitely not the best player in the country, man. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Who was not Anthony? First of all, you talking about what he shot from the 3. Did the type of shots that he made when he was making 3-pointers?
It's literally Jeremiah Fears shot 28%. You said that was just trash.
No, but I watched. No, it is kind of trash. But when I watch Jeremiah Fears play and I watch Anthony Edwards play in college, it's 2 different things. Like the shot quality, the shot diet, the shots that Jeremiah Fears might take in the NBA. Might take in college may not work for him in the NBA because of his size. That's number 1. His athleticism. When I watch Anthony Edwards in college take some of them shots, you was like, oh shit. That's the number 1 option because you can blitz him, you can double him, and he's still gonna be able to get that shit off. Like Jeremiah Fears is undersized.
I agree. I'm not even. I'm just saying. I think just the raw percentages tell more of the story for both of them.
Yeah, look,
I agree. But that's
all
what
I'm saying is, look, I'm not comparing Jeremiah Fears. I'm not comparing Jeremiah Fears to Anthony Edwards. Jeremiah was 18 for the entire year, played, in my opinion, just as well, roughly, and honestly is. Yeah, I think he has the best first step in college basketball. I'll just say it right there. I think Jeremiah Fears gets downhill really well. I think he reads out of the pick and roll just as well as Anthony Edwards did at Georgia. Yeah, Ant's bigger. He's more athletic. I'll give you that. Ant's an above the rim finisher. But the other thing I'll give you about Jeremiah Fears is I really think he enjoys contact. He likes defense. So look, man, like I get Ant's a much better prospect.
Small though. He's smaller though.
He's 6'2.5". Ant measured 6'4". What's the gap? It's the gap. The gap is the gap, but one of them is a point guard.
Like, the frame is
I got you. I agree with you.
The athleticism too is like not even like it's off the chart. Like some of these players, like, and it's such a I guess it's such a subjective measurement, but it goes off of so many things. Like when you watching somebody physically dominate, like Ant does. Like when you see games was like, oh shit, I think Ant did that shit against Michigan State or some shit like that, where they was down and he went on a crazy run by himself. It's like certain shit you like, all right, I can see what the hype is. Like even with Cooper Flag at times, like, oh, you like, all right, Cooper Flag is losing. I think they was losing to Georgia Tech at halftime or some shit. And then in the second half, Cooper Flag just say, all right, fuck it, I'm about to beat y'all ass.
But like, you do. But Ant was 16-16 in college. You know that, right? Georgia went 16-16. So they weren't a winning team. Right.
Yes,
you get my point. When you're already high on a player, like I'm high on AJ. You're not high on AJ. Next year when AJ struggles at BYU, I'm gonna be up here saying big wings always struggle in college basketball. He has no help, and you're gonna be like, see, he's a bust. So you get.
I don't think he's a bust. I think he's a top 10 pick. I just don't think he's a consensus number 1 pick.
Cool. I get what you're saying. So all I'm saying is we watch with our biases on, and it's very hard to turn them off. So you were high on Ant. I actually wasn't that crazy high on Ant. I had questions between Ant and LaMelo Ball. I really did, and I'm wrong. So
yeah, I had no questions about LaMelo Ball.
I had no questions either, but I had LaMelo number 1. But,
there you go.
Yeah, I still got LaMelo.
LaMelo hooping. LaMelo good.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. I thought Ant when I did the thing, like when I finally came to, because I was a huge fan of LaMelo Ball too. By the way, I had him number 1 too. But when I finally sat down and listened to what people, experts and shit was saying. I'm like, okay, I get y'all. Ant is number 1. I had LaMelo number 2, by the way. Now, LaMelo wasn't crazy efficient. I didn't have James Wiseman at number 2. I thought that was a horrible pick by the Warriors. But
you know what?
But all I'm saying is certain players, you gotta like watch, and that's why it's important that we all watch guys before we just look at the box score, because a smaller guy, you might say, oh, his Ant numbers and Jeremiah Fears numbers is the same, but it's like not really. Like it's not really the same when you go back and watch it.
You know what's interesting?
That's my whole thing.
The pre-draft, Steve Kerr and the Warriors told Anthony Edwards, if you fall to number 2, we wouldn't take you because you don't work hard enough.
and they lied.
Apparently they said that, and apparently Ants confirmed
They
it.
may have said that they would have took him.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they would have taken
If he
him.
was on the board at number 2, the Warriors are not passing on Anthony
And-
Edwards.
and-
No, they-
Anyways,
the
I
bigger
just think
story-
it's
the
I
bigger
think it's
story needs to
amazing
be
that
that
he's the
no
one
way
who's going to
LaMelo.
end their season this year. I just think that's a hilarious thing because James Wiseman
Yeah.
is over in Indiana rehabbing from an Achilles tear, and Anthony Edwards is emerging as possibly the face of the league.
Might go to the finals this year.
Yes,
Yeah,
that could
Minnesota
happen,
might go
but
to
he's
the
not.
finals. Another year where
He's
he's
not
not
officially
on
on
the
Indiana's roster. I just want to put that out there. He
Oh.
got waived. He not officially. He's just
They
he's just
waived him?
rehabbing. He's
Oh, shit, I
rehabbing
didn't
in
know
their
they waived
facility.
him.
Well, they traded him to the Raptors, and the Raptors waived him.
They traded him?
Oh damn!
Yes.
They traded him to
Oh.
die.
Fellas,
I had no idea.
let's
about
go
that.
ahead and get into these games. What's good, Real Talk?
What's up with y'all, man? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
We
Cool,
good.
What up, Real
cool.
Talk?
Chill. I heard I was listening, right before I came up on here. You going off on the chat again. You let them raise your blood pressure again, man. Come
They
on
deserved
now.
it, Real Talk. They needed it.
These dudes say that they don't care about me responding to them, yet they respond to me all the time. Everything that I say, we have episodes of all of these dudes that are the trolls, just talking about me and me only
Mhm.
for hours, just talking about me and me. We got a great show up here. We got great basketball talk, and they'll just address me for hours. Like I'm the only one up here. There's so much other stuff going on here. So much. They'll put microphones in the chat. What about like Ron ain't talking to me? Like Penn ain't talking to me? Like Jordan ain't talking to me? Like Mars ain't talking to me? Meanwhile, these dudes will talk. These dudes will address me, put microphones in the chat. What about this, Chill? What about that, Chill? Wait, what about the show? How about that? What about the show?
What about me?
How about that? What about the show?
Facts, Pen. You don't see me, Chill?
I'll talk to you, Ox.
Exactly. What about Ox? What about what about the big fella? What about that dude?
That's your host,
right? But all of these dudes, they say
They don't see you in the show. That's why it's chilling with you.
They say that they don't. They say that they don't care about me, and then they'll turn around like this dude, like this dude, Sam Gibson. I can tell you right now, Sam Gibson don't get no ass. He gets none. I'm certain that dude don't get no ass.
But I agree with you.
Zero.
Sam be on some bullshit.
Sam
I agree
don't
with
get
you.
no ass. I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts.
You ain't getting no pieces.
Sam don't get no ass. Not
if he ain't paying
Tell me something else
Hell
about
no.
him,
He don't
Joe.
get no ass. None whatsoever.
Does he got any food in his
and
fridge?
then talk about me saying he calls me crybaby. When you say wild shit to me and then I respond, I'm crying. But if you saw me in the street, I promise you, you wouldn't say anything to me. You wouldn't say a word to me if you saw me in the street. And I bet you wouldn't have that same keyboard.
Yeah, he would chill. He would say, Uncle Chill. He would say, Uncle Chill.
I bet
Uncle
you
Chill.
wouldn't
Can we
do
take a
that.
He
picture?
asked for an autograph.
That would say, Uncle Chill, OG, can we take a picture? That's how they be talking crazy in the chat. Then when they see you, they want to be, hey, big bro, that you 13 years younger than them. They're gonna be big bro. Look out, big
man.
You ever seen those fans talking wild and the
But
player turns around and then they suddenly turn into mice? That's
but
what's
real
up.
talk. But real talk. Let's talk some pro basketball. Let's talk about
Facts.
the playoffs, man.
Facts.
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's not even deal with these
Can we start with
goofy-ass
prayers
dudes
out
up
for
here
Jason Tatum? Can we do that?
That's only here because of us. Because if we wasn't here, what would you be doing with your day, Sam? If we wasn't here, what would you be doing right now?
Not getting no ass.
If we wasn't here, that's my question to you, Baba. If you wasn't here right now, if we weren't here right now, what would you be doing with your day? What's going on in your life? I can tell you right now.
Damn, who ain't getting no?
They talking about he a minor. Like being a minor is an excuse to have to get no ass, man. Shit.
All right, y'all. Well, I do.
That ain't no
this.
excuse.
From the logo, we'll be on today talking all about the #1 draft pick, Nico Harrison's rise to fame. You see, Nico Harrison after last night, I can guarantee you one thing: he getting some ass. And Cooper Flag and all that other good stuff. So y'all be sure to tap in and watch From the Logo. It will be coming on in a couple hours. In the meantime, fellas, there was a game last night.
2 games.
That the Boston Celtics could have won, but they gave up yet another lead. And the New York Knicks came back for the 3rd time in 4 games to beat the Celtics by a score of 121-113. And, well, in the midst of this whole thing, Jalen Brunson went crazy. He had 39 points, 12 assists. And on the other end, Jason Tatum was going ballistic too. He had 42 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And they were going band for band, but ultimately, it just looks like the New York Knicks are just better than the Celtics. Fellas, talk to me about what you guys are seeing.
Prayers up for Jason Tatum, man. That looked really bad. He couldn't put no weight on that.
That
And
looked
to
like
me,
Achilles.
it did. I don't want to say it out loud. I was listening to a podcast. Someone said it was the quietest Celtics locker room they've ever heard after the game.
Damn.
Sounded like a funeral. So, you know, it's really tough.
I
think JT played the best game of the playoffs so far for him.
Yeah.
And it's really tough that he went out on a Jaylen Brown turnover. And, you know, shout outs to the Knicks, man. Shout outs to the
He
Knicks.
probably would have got 50. I ain't gonna lie. He probably would have got 50.
Yeah, he was probably
he
getting
might
about
have
48, 50, yeah.
He might have.
But I also think, as far as reaction to that, this is the only thing that kind of makes me not think it's an Achilles. I've never seen a player tear their Achilles and react the way he did. Like, usually they kind of like shocked a little bit. He went straight to screaming, like awesome shit. Like, you know, that shit was hurting. Usually when they do it, it's kind of like a, oh, fuck. Like that type of thing. It was more of a like a instant pain. It usually don't happen like that, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not no doctor, but I'm just saying that would be my only, fucking hope that it's not an Achilles is because of the way he responded. It could have been more of an ankle injury or
I think the
injury.
way he
but it was non-contact.
I think the way he responded was because he knew. I think sometimes, like, you know, it like hit him. It was like, damn, it's probably my Achilles. And then he knows what, you know, he finna be out a long time. He finna have to rehab. Is he gonna ever be the same player? Like, I'm sure all of those thoughts immediately came to his head because, you know, I think he knew what it was.
I know, but at the same
whatever
time,
it was,
when he grabbed it, it was kind of crazy. Like, he grabbed it like he was in instant pain. It wasn't like a disappointed. He grabbed it like it was in instant pain. Like, usually, usually they kind of look around like, what the fuck was that?
He did.
I don't know. Regardless of what it was, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to act like I know. Regardless of what it was, it's serious. You know what I'm saying? You could tell by the way they got him out of there. He was on the wheelchair, but, you know, prayers up to him. He went out swinging though. So, you know what I'm saying? He could be proud of that. And, you know, he's still a young fella. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's not career ending. I don't think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's young. He'll bounce back. He'll be okay. Jason Tatum will be right back to the Jason Tatum we know. So, man, but on the other note, though, Knicks wasn't playing with him either way. You know what I'm saying?
Him playing with
either way.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
playing with these boys.
That's why I want to make sure that
Jason Tatum going out last night is not why the Knicks won.
I just want to make sure,
absolutely. Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we reiterate that point right there, Ox. Even if he doesn't get injured on that play, they're still losing that game. They're still.
I think so.
I think so too. I mean,
what it was, he got injured. It was 3 minutes left, and they were down.
They were down.
That bucket makes it 9 points that they down when OG got that open floor steal. I still think that they losing that game. So the Knicks in these 4 games have been down an average margin of 19 a game, and they've won 3 of the 4 games that we played. I think last night, I think both teams I think they did a good job in taking care of the ball. I think the difference is when the turnovers were, right? So that turnover late in the game. And you can also bad shots can be turnovers too. Don't leave that part out. So with these bad shots being turnovers, like Jason Tatum shooting from the logo in the middle of the fourth quarter when he got Cat on him instead of taking Cat to the rim when you're specifically seeking that matchup out. You're not seeking that matchup out only to get Cat 35 feet away from the basket and then bail him out with that kind of shot. No, you're getting Cat that far away from the basket so you can get to the rim. I thought that not necessarily OG more than Mikal Bridges. I thought that he did a great job in getting to the specific spots that he wanted to get to late in the game. He was looking at that mid post and that 14, 15 foot spot where he was. That's where he's money. No doubt about that. And I can't leave out get Porzingis off the floor. Mitchell kicked his ass on the glass last night. He kicked his ass on the glass last night. I can't tell you guys. I think he has 6 offensive rebounds. So that's and for a team like the Knicks, who sometimes struggles offensively, when you're giving them second chance opportunities like that, when you're giving them a possible 18 more points, that's a detriment to these guys. So I had Ron. I told you this yesterday, Ron. I had the games right. I clearly had, but I had the team wrong. So I'm in the right neighborhood. I'm just knocking on the wrong door. I think this thing is over. I don't think we're coming back to Boston. I don't think we're coming back to New York. I think this thing is over. And I got to ask you guys, and I know we're going to get to these other games, but I got to ask you guys because I'm not sure if this is ridiculous or not. Is it realistic for us? Is it realistic for me to think that we could get a Knicks Timberwolves finals?
It is realistic.
It is
and
not.
that would be.
Yeah, I
Very
thought about that.
realistic.
I thought about
Very
that last
realistic.
night. I thought about that last night. I was like, damn, Juju get his revenge on the Knicks, and maybe Cat get his revenge on the.
That would be insane.
They're not winning that. The Knicks kicking their ass.
Hell no.
No, they're not.
Hey man, I've been on record right now saying I got Minnesota, but I'm
You
gonna
say
stick
so.
with it. But hell no. Can't
No,
nobody
the
do
Knicks,
that.
y'all got to see what I'm seeing, right? The only team left that can beat the Knicks is OKC, and I don't even think they could do it.
You think they serve Indiana?
Oh, we not even looking
Indiana
at
might
Indiana.
get
The
on that.
Pacers
Hey,
are done.
I can't wait to make that bet. I really can't wait to make that bet.
Yo, chill,
Indiana is good, man.
y'all remember what happened
Indiana
last
is
year? Y'all remember what happened last year? Ron wanted to do this with the Celtics in Indiana. Spank that ass. Watch what the Knicks finna do. They finna spank that ass.
Hey, I do
Indiana
want
is
to.
not ready, bro.
I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, though. I want to talk about this Celtics series. And one thing I do want to say is I don't want to. I really don't like to be this guy, but it's kind of an "I told you so" moment for me and Ox. I don't know, Ox, if you want to jump on this, but we told you guys that this was a terrible brand of basketball, and they have thoroughly been getting out basketball.
Not about the brand of basketball.
It is about the brand of basketball.
It's about health.
Game one. It's about health.
Kristaps
Porzingis just got hurt. What are you talking about?
On. Kristaps Porzingis has been hurt. Sam Hauser has been
team
hurt.
in the NBA. They got the best. They got the best supporting cast. Jason Tatum's the most privileged player in NBA history because they have Jaylen Brown and they have Drew Holiday and they have Derek White. Well, you know what they don't. What they don't have is a good brand of basketball. And I've been saying this, for the whole year. I even said it last year. You guys shoot all these threes, and you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot. And that's what happened throughout this series.
You see what happened?
Shot themselves out of the series.
There was the stretch right there. You seen the stretch? JT, bang. JT, bang. Peyton, bang. JT, bang. They thought the game was over because they went on a quick little run. That's what happens with them. They go down a couple points and they hit four threes after they just missed 20. You know what I'm saying? Then they hit a couple. Then they missed a bunch. They thought the game was over in the second quarter when JT went boom, boom, Peyton, boom, JT, boom. And what happens? You get walked down because Jalen Brunson could go band for band with anybody. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are the best wing defenders in the NBA. There's a reason why
you say that.
No love for
crazy that you say that too. It's crazy. It's crazy that you say that.
I'm talking about a tandem, a duo.
It's crazy that you say that too, Ox, because there's a level of confidence that you have to have, knowing they're gonna let us back in. Just keep playing. They're gonna let us back in. Just keep playing. No matter. Even though everything that I saw throughout the course of the regular season, Ox, was contradictory to what I seen in the playoffs. Because everything I saw in the regular season, they dominated the Knicks. But the confidence level that the Knicks had throughout these playoffs, just keep playing, just hang around. They're gonna let us back in, and then on top of that, I feel like I saw a classic duel at the end because it looked like it was JT and Brunson, and then JT, which is why, and I've said this to you guys before, and I still stand on it. Why y'all think I feel the way I do about him? Because I've seen this before. I've seen this dude be able to do this kind of stuff. I've seen this guy be able to get busy like this. That's why I feel the way I do about him. For that reason specifically, it was unfortunate that he got hurt. I'm not going to argue that point. It was unfortunate that he got hurt, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse because I still think that the Knicks would have won anyway. But what I saw from him, it was less of the shot selection, more than it was the Knicks as a unit. I thought the Celtics transition defense was awful. I thought their closeouts were bad. That's why OG Anunoby was cracking wide open threes. I thought that Derek White, his closeouts were way too low, which would explain why Mikal Bridges, because when he operates in the mid post and in the mid range, why he was so good there. That's where he wanted to get to. And if you're closing out low, that's going to be a problem. That's why they were getting what they were getting. And on top of that, we can't talk about Tibbs and his rotations. Just so you guys know, he played 5 guys in the third quarter. He's done that throughout the course of the season. That's it. He played 5 guys in the third quarter. He's done that throughout the course of the season. He will dig into his rotation. 2 or 3 guys. But let's not act like Joe Mazzulla is digging deep into his rotation. He played 8 guys yesterday. That was it. He played 8.
Those are the guys who are healthy.
That was it. I got a question. And question for you too, Ox.
Yeah, and they were fully healthy yesterday. Porzingis was there yesterday.
Porzingis is not himself. I think you can see that if you're watching him play.
Part of the
He don't
game.
look like himself. He's shooting like 15% from three, Ron. He is a shell of himself.
I was told no way that anybody beats this team. Chill.
Okay,
what was their
look.
floor? No. What was their floor?
I never said any of that. When they got sold at the deadline,
are indestructible. The Boston Celtics are this good of a team.
I
There's
didn't
a
see
gap
anybody
between
beat
them and
them 4
everybody else.
times a week,
They're
Ron.
gonna walk through the playoffs.
Hey, Ron, KP having a stomach ache is part of the game. Shit happens. You on the team.
They still got
I never said that.
First team All NBA MVP candidate. They still got Jaylen Brown. They still got Derek White, the greatest role player ever, who carries that team like that. The Celtics are the Celtics.
Player ever.
You know,
okay, I don't know. Ron, you're just inventing stories so that you have.
No, I'm talking about it the way that everybody talked about the Celtics. Pin, if you're doing this right now,
I never said that about the Boston Celtics. I said that when they got sold.
The energy for the Celtics was that they were the best team in the Eastern Conference, bar none. The Knicks didn't stand a chance. The Cavs didn't stand a chance. OKC was the only team that had a shimmering hope of even beating the Celtics. You're doing this right now because of what's happened. Because Jason Tatum's injured, because Kristaps Porzingis got bronchitis, and because they are down 3-1. If this wasn't the case, if the roles were reversed, you would be talking about the Celtics going back to back and how they are how they have a dynasty and they're one of the best teams that we've ever seen after 2000 and all of this. No, I'm telling you right now, everybody was saying that this Celtics team was invincible. Now all of a sudden it's it's because they were injured and yada yada yada. No,
we've had shows on this channel that they were vulnerable. We've had. I do want
to. Wait. Let's hold on, though, y'all. Hold on. Let's point this out, though. Let's point this out, bro.
We lost one game, and now you're making them the thumbnail. Ron, why are you overreacting? Why are you doing this? I told you niggas back in February when I put him as the thumbnail. I told you niggas back in November when I put him as the thumbnail. I told you niggas back when I said that Jason Tatum wasn't this, that, and the third, and this team wasn't that good, and y'all ridiculed me, y'all. Off the goddamn show. Now look. That's all I want to say. Now look.
But wait though, Ron. I do want to say this though. I want to say this real quick, and it's obviously a reach, a very very long reach. I did my yoga this morning, so I won't pull a muscle. Don't worry about me, y'all. Let me reach. They still got the Finals MVP. You know what I mean? Peyton Pritchard do be shooting the ball, and you know what I'm saying? Al Horford is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Drew Holiday is still him. Derek White is one of the better role players. They still have a very competent basketball team. Now, I think it's over, but basketball is basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just ask my question?
I'm just saying though. I had the Knicks earlier. I've been going back and forth. I was I'm not a Knicks fan. I go back and forth, but I got faith in OG and Mikal. But I'm just saying they still got a very good basketball team. Let's watch. Y'all still believed in the Warriors. Still believe in the Celtics.
I don't know why.
They're 8-2 without JT. They're 8-2 without JT.
8-2. That's so what?
It's a new day. I believe that is the record, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to point out a couple things here real quick. Stats. Okay. Stats. Jason Tatum yesterday moved into the same category in terms of 30-point playoff games all time as Jokic and Wade with 34. Dude has never missed the playoffs in a league where we are constantly talking about load management. Why are these guys always injured? Why are they not playing? This is a dude who has played 92% of his games at the NBA level. He missed his first playoff game ever in round 1. So I just want to hand this to Jason Tatum. And you know what? I don't believe.
Stop there, Penn. Don't stop there. Just so you know, yesterday he tied Larry Bird for the most 40-point games in the playoffs. So don't stop there.
There we go. So look, all I'm saying is I believe that people who said the Boston Celtics were invincible were wrong because, number one, when that team was sold mid-season, I believe that set off a chain of events through the locker room, knowing who bought that team, knowing they were the most expensive team in the league. I said it could be a distraction where now we know. I said it. I did say it. I said it could be a distraction where now we know that they may disband this team. This might be the last dance. I've said it before many times. So I don't think that they're invincible. I don't think you're stupid if you thought they were the best team in the East. I think there's a reason to believe that. They were a very talented team. They were the defending champions. Personally, I've always had the OKC Thunder over them. I might have picked the Minnesota Timberwolves over them. I might have picked last year. I said I think the Nuggets would have beat them in the finals. So it comes down to health. The Knicks have been healthier. Shout outs to the Knicks. They've been awesome. They've willed their asses into these games. So don't leave that part out. Jaylen Brown has been awful in these games, like really, truly awful. Okay, turning the ball over like a motherfucker, shooting like I think 40% true shooting, having a -3 box minus on the series.
What point exactly are you making? Because like Ron is correct in his analysis of like everybody was pretty much guaranteeing that the Celtics were at least making it back to the finals. Like their minimum, like their floor was getting to the finals.
I think I'm against the idea that you're victory lapping 2 major rotation players being injured and the Celtics blowing.
I mean, but that's not what he's victory. He's victory lapping the play style.
Sam Hauser is an upper rotation player for this team, bro.
All right, y'all. Hey, I gotta go make some tea.
Ron, stop, Ron. Don't have no go. Okay, sure, Ron.
You don't think Sam Hauser is a big deal?
He does.
Sam Hauser would have got played off the floor because they switch everything, and Jalen Brunson would have been hunting the hell out of Sam Hauser.
100%. And
he got played off the floor.
Okay, first of all, no, he wouldn't. Sam Hauser.
I ain't even gonna lie to you.
Sam Hauser is a lot better defender than you give him credit for. That's number one. Number two,
not in space against Jalen Brunson.
Okay, so not just Jalen Brunson. I mean, not just Sam Hauser. Most of those guys have. All of those guys have a difficult time. Drew Holiday had a difficult time with Jalen Brunson. Derek White had a difficult time with Jalen Brunson.
Well, actually, but
I don't know. To be honest, if I'm being honest with you, and again, real talk, you know how I feel about him. But I felt like with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brunson was radioactive. Like he ain't really want nothing to do with that dude throughout the course of the series. He very rarely took the assignment. I'm gonna deal with this guy. You score the rest of the points because we got a bomb squad. Don't forget that point. You know, we got a bunch of other dudes on this crew who can score. So you score the rest of the points. I'll deal with this dude right here. I never saw that one time. And the reason why I never saw that one time, because Jalen Brunson is a lot to deal with. 100% he is. He's a lot to deal with. And he takes so much pressure off of OG Anunoby, off of Mikal Bridges, off of Cat in terms of a scorer. Then on top of that, you got rotation guys like Miles Bridges coming in and knocking down shots and pressing full court to screw their offense up. So it wasn't just a matter of the Celtics just missing shots. The Knicks did a whole bunch of other things right in order for this thing.
Chill, but Al Horford wasn't ducking Jalen Brunson.
I had a question for you, Ox. I really want to know this. Let's say the Knicks advance. Okay. let's say the Knicks advance. Do y'all think that the fatigue will stop the Knicks from either A, going to the finals, or B, like, do y'all think that they will overcome it and just still play? Because like,
what fatigue?
They had a rough series. Them having a rough series against the Pistons. I know the Pistons series ended in 6 games.
6. Mm-hmm.
They had a rough series against them though. All 6 of them games was hell. The Boston Celtics series been a rough 4 games so far. 5th one, I mean, it's probably going to be hell for the 5th one, just based on what the Celtics is going to try to do. Going with the limited rotation that Tibbs play, y'all don't see that being a factor into, because Curry, for example, got his ass roughed up a little bit in the first round. Hammy.
No.
He's 37 though, Jordan. I don't think so. I think this team, I think when you got, especially when they add Mikal now too, right? So it's a little different. So I see OG, Mikal, Josh
already
Hart.
hurt a little bit too, though.
Yeah, okay, but he's rolling his ankles. He's rolling his ankles. That's a part of basketball. So you know you can play 12 minutes to roll your ankle. You don't got to be fatigued to do that. But so you go Mikal, OG, Josh Hart. I look at those 3 like thoroughbreds. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes are world-class athletes. I don't think they're tripping. I think also being on the Knicks, knowing that I'm playing for Coach Tibbs, I'm already knowing where my condition, where I got to be. Condition. Thank you, Pen. I know what level of conditioning I got to be, the level of athlete I got to be, the level of dog I got to be to play for Coach Tibbs. So I think particularly Josh Hart, OG, them 2 dudes, they're already more conditioned into it. And Mikal Bridges is a Iron Man anyway. You know what I'm saying? Before he even got over here, he wasn't missing no games. So I don't think so. I think they'll be fine. On top of that, and y'all can agree with me or disagree on it, I think unless you're going into overtimes, unless games are super, super, physical, more physical than other games, I'm not really seeing a difference. Like I look at it like these guys, when you that type of level of basketball player, the Knicks I'm talking about, these dogs, you playing hard. All your games are hard games. You know what I'm saying? Because we getting after it anyway. So I don't think their series could have been any more difficult or any less difficult. I think they're getting after it. And if they can get rid of the Celtics this next game, boom, I think they'll be all right. And plus, the Pacers run a lot. I think the Pacers might be dealing with some fatigue and stuff like that too. They play at a different pace.
The Pacers is kind of deep, and they play at a different pace, but they don't play at a dominant pace like Jalen Brunson dominating the ball. Even some of the shots OG take is tough shots. Like OG, and I'll give credit to OG. He done got so much better, especially under this pressure. When they need him to step up, his ass be stepping up, making shots. But the way that the Knicks play and the way that the Pacers play a little bit more fluid. Everything is like they literally, I like the way the Pacers play because they literally don't play one-on-one a lot. Like their job, they do dribble, drive, kick. Like they don't even try unless it's late in the shot clock.
They don't really have.
But Jordan, I think that's a little more exhausting than less, more ISO ball and stuff like that.
I don't know. I asked
right. Well, I asked y'all a question before. I want to ask y'all again. What if I go down on offense, Jordan? We on the same squad. We run the floor. We get up the court. Now I'm on the right wing. You're on the left wing. I said the down pick for the big fella. I cut through to the other side. You know what I mean? I'm moving off the ball. I flash to the middle. It's not there. I go back to the corner. While I'm doing that, Jordan, you over here, you're moving. You go set a pick. Then you get the ball at the top of the key, and you go to work. Get a one rip through, one count, pull up, whatever. Who's going to be more tired? We both playing ball. I mean, so the fact that you start the ball shouldn't mean that you exerted more energy than I did by setting picks and moving off the ball.
But when I say tired, Ox, I mean like fatigue as far as like your body just being tired, like. The way the Knicks play is kind of daunting. Like they play
physical wear and tear
basketball. Yeah,
like it definitely wears them down. The Pacers, and by the way, I got another video dropping real soon. But anyways, I talk about how Tyrese Halliburton don't have to be the best player on the floor for them to be good, and like that's Jalen Brunson.
He had 11 points in that blowout, by the way. To your point, Jordan.
Exactly.
He had 11, and they smoked them dudes.
Bro, it's exactly as good as Jalen Brunson is. As good as Jalen Brunson is, his 40-point games are needed a lot of times. Them 35s is needed. Like what he had last night, 39 and 12 or some shit like that.
39 and 12, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's needed in the way he gets.
Because the Knicks survived with Jalen Brunson getting 11 points.
No, especially not against a team.
They can. Yes, they can. They can. Hell yeah, they can. Call because they got Carl Anthony Towns too. Y'all acting like Carl.
Yeah,
y'all crazy. You stop it. Because OG and Mikhail each can have their 20. Cat can still score 30 points plus, right?
He can.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes.
I mean, how many times has that happened this year though?
Brunson had 12 this year and they won.
Okay.
I mean, the playoff
happened in that game.
Demars, I knew you would come through.
They scored 100.
Y'all not talking about Mitchell Robinson. You should be talking about Mitchell Robinson.
Who they play?
Who they play against, Mars?
That don't matter. Mars.
Hell no, Mars.
He scored 14 and they won. He scored 14 and they won.
Go back to the 12. And who did they play?
Go back to 12. Who they play?
Stick on that 14. Stick on that 14.
The Wizards, huh? The Wizards.
Toronto. They play Toronto.
They played Penn's team. He's actually done it twice against Toronto.
They played Toronto.
Okay, but what about
he scored 14 and a 26-point win against the Timberwolves.
Should be happening. But all I'm saying is in the playoffs, I don't think it's gonna happen. Not in the playoffs, it's not gonna happen.
They actually beat Indiana with him scoring 8.
That's
who was out there?
Not gonna happen who was out?
Halliburton, Pascal, and Miles Turner.
Let's go play both sides.
And Pascal were both there. Nemhard was there. Neesmith.
See, Ron, you was just saying anything you be lying to.
Neesmith ain't played.
I knew by the way he said it.
He played 13 minutes and had 4 fouls. He got played off the court because he fouled him too much.
Nah, he ain't fouled out, so he didn't get played off the court. He got hurt.
Those facts right there is why we can't just go off eye test. That's why we got to go to the stats. Thank you. Everything that they just said about the Pacers versus the Knicks is dead. Done. Over.
We're gonna see though, man. All I'm saying is I've seen this movie before. I've seen this movie before with the Knicks and the Tibbs team. It looked good, and then that shit just get depressing. It's a dark
Jordan,
cloud
like
in
the
New York. We go see that dark cloud over New York, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of motherfuckers on the train talking about fuck is you talking about. We going home. You go see a whole bunch of motherfuckers on the train saying that. We going home. Going straight to the crib.
Oh my god!
About to go get me what they say in New York. About to go get me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. They put all that shit together in one syllable.
Chopped sandwiches.
Yeah, what they say? Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich in New York. How they say that, chill?
Yeah, they finna go to the bodega.
Yeah,
gonna be a whole bunch of folks on the train, mad as hell.
Going to Sabaros and get a slice, and then we heading catching the 2 train back uptown to Harlem. So
yeah,
I do want to I want to give the Knicks credit and just shout out the Knicks organization as a whole, because I like when teams kind of like go forward and it works out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like in the off season, they you know, to a lot of people overpaid for Mikal Bridges. They overpaid OG, Jalen Brunson. Why are you taking a pay cut? And for them to come together, getting Cat on that contract that he's on, making $50-something million a year, you know. So, and then for that to come together, and then they beat the team that they were theoretically constructed to beat, you know, in the second round of the playoffs. And if they win the championship, then I mean, all this
formula work.
You're not thinking about those 5 first-round picks, you know. So I like when a team like goes for it and it works out for them, because a lot of teams go for it, and because they go for it and don't win, we say it's a failure. In my eyes, like stuff like that is never a failure. I like when organizations are trying to win, and shout out the Knicks. You know, they doing it. They doing it.
I rock with people that's trying to win too.
Yo, shout outs to Mitchell Robinson. Yo, like the opposing teams cannot score on this guy. I think they're shooting like 20 to 30%.
Hold on, Pen. Because we got to go back to Mr. Mars. When I was talking about Mitchell Robinson being what he was, that did Donovan Clingan too. But when I was talking about Mitchell Robinson being that guy at that rim, it was a lot of it's all right.
No, they said he wasn't a good rim protector, Jordan.
I think that was me and Ox saying, no, Mitchell Robinson like that.
I think they said he wasn't a good rim protector.
No,
he's been amazing he's been amazing in these playoffs, and I have no problem saying that, because I have no ill will against Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson I've seen for the last 2-3 years was not a good rim protector at all. So at the time in which I said I still stand by what I said. But this playoffs, I'm not gonna be like, he still hasn't been a good rim. No, I'm not gonna just lie to try and be like, I still stand on what I said. At the time in which I said it, I think I was correct. He hadn't shown that he's been a good rim protector for the last 2 or 3 seasons. In these playoffs, he's been immense defensively, and there's a reason why they didn't do it last night. But there's a reason why the Boston Celtics have been trying to get him off the floor. It's because of how immense he's been defensively. So he gets all the credit in the world for that. But I'm not going to take back what I said a few months ago, when at the time I said it, I think it was true. Now we can disagree about what Mitchell Robinson was.
I don't want to disagree with you. I think it was factors.
Doesn't change what I said at the time I said it.
I think it was factors to it. I can't remember the exact conversation, but I know we talked about certain factors to it. But I know me and Ox was referring to him coming back and how important it would be for the Knicks when he got him. And I was like, that shit gonna change a lot. And you know, it was a lot. But if that's what you want to go off your analysis for the past few years, I understand that. But I understood like it was certain factors with Mitchell Robinson to why certain things dropped a little.
Ron, do you remember the post that I sent you? I think it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, showing Mitchell Robinson in the pickup game and his skill set and like what he could actually do.
That shit crazy as a motherfucker.
Yeah, what he could actually do. And now
that might be AI generated. I don't even know if that's
real. That
was insane.
Hell no.
That's what I'm saying.
Can do that.
But what I'm saying though is that how many guys do we have that's playing a role like what Mitchell Robinson is? Like he's turned into a rim protector. He's turned into a rebounder. This is all we need you to do. When in reality, he probably got a whole bunch of different skills that we don't know about that he can do.
They can do it without the defense. You know what I'm saying? Without any defense, I'm sure every NBA player should be able to do that. With no defense on him, like that's just dribbling the ball, shooting. Like it's different. It's different when it's 5 people guarding you.
No, it was defense.
When I was
defense from me, like come on, man,
I'm talking about defense. I'm talking about defense, though, bro. Like,
damn near every NBA player, like we seen the Ben Simmons offseason videos. Like damn near every NBA player can do crazy things in 24-hour fitness with questionable competition. Doing it in the NBA is a different beast. Like. I'm not being like, if you just gave Mitchell Robinson the keys, he could actually do this in the league. Like, no.
Let's chill out.
But even if that was the case, like the reason certain guys get the keys, Jalen Brunsons, Jason Tatum's, etc., is because that's good enough for you to have success doing it. You could give the keys to Peyton Pritchard. Your team will stink. But you could give the keys to Peyton Pritchard theoretically. Like you could do that.
It will stink.
Yes.
Probably.
I mean, the paid.
Make sure you tell. Hey,
Like-
I think that was
like, yeah,
Penn.
like-
I
He
think that was
cold,
Penn
though.
who
Shout
said
out
they
to
would be.
Yeah, I'm Payton Pritchard's a really good player, but like you could give the keys to you could give the keys to an NBA roster to Benedict Mathurin. The team will win 16 games.
Damn.
But you
No,
could
they'll
give
win
the
6
keys to
games.
Benedict Mathurin. Like
Shit,
you
they'll
could
be
do that.
6
Like there are a
games.
bunch of players where you could just give them the keys and let them run free.
Like
But it's
Malik
about-
Monk and Scotty
If
Barnes.
If you
It's about
drop
building a
if you
team that's-
drop
Oh, don't do the Scotty Barnes joint. Don't do the Scotty
forget
Barnes
that.
joint.
If you dropped a guy like Jordan Poole in an average NCAA game right now, he probably put up 100 points, 80 points,
He's
something like
frying
that.
them dudes.
He
He's
would kill him.
frying them dudes.
So
Yeah, if
that-
you gave-
that-
you gave
that's
him
the
those
gap.
things,
If you put Michael Beasley, who's out of the league right now, in a Division I game right now, he put up 80 to 100 points on them too.
You
So-
put him in an
Michael Beasley
NBA
put
game
up
and give him
40
the
in the
green light,
NBA.
he'll put up
He put up
easy.
40.
So
I'll be
that-
fair, just
play
to
like a
make sure
mother.
no one can argue.
the reality
You
is
give him a
So
green
you
light in
gotta-
the league.
you gotta
have-
play a role. If you're not one of those guys, you gotta play a role. And so it matters that you can shoot on the catch and shoot, matters you can defend and all that stuff. So yeah, a lot of these guys that we don't see really frying dudes one-on-one, they got one-on-one skills. They come to your local park, they're gonna kill you. They're gonna
And-
do some stuff you never seen them do. My life changed when I saw Andrea Bargnani go out, miss like every shot he took in a game, and then come in after practice, because I was like, just around the team a little bit more back then. And I saw this guy in a warm-up drill shoot like 80 shots, and he made like
He made
79
all
of them.
Mhm.
Like he was shooting from like the seats. He was
I
shooting
seen
from
Torrey
half the
Prince
court.
do that at Baylor. He made 40
You know
in a
what I
row
mean?
at Baylor.
I
I've
seen
seen
Chris.
Amen
I
Thompson
seen.
make
I,
like 4
bro,
threes in a
I
row.
seen Chris Bosh come out, sit
Boy,
at the
Chris.
half court table with one hand and make 2 threes in a row. And at that point, he wasn't a 3-point shooter. The talent is insane with these guys. But
So it sounds to me-
the consistency is the main thing, Joe. Consistency.
100. That's it right there. And it sounds to me, to Mars's point, like you got to give the keys to the right guy. Kind of like what's going on in Minnesota. It's not like they look like they handed the keys to the right guy. They didn't hand the keys to the wrong guy. And if you put the right pieces around that guy and make his game, make everybody else's game conducive to his game, how much better would it look? Because
Shout out Julius Randle.
I vividly remember I'm up here fighting for my life talking about Julius Randle. Julius Randle looks fantastic in these playoffs. It's incredible what a couple. It's incredible what a couple of games can how a couple of games can change the perception of somebody when recently or previous to that, this person was just straight garbage, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. But watching,
So is he better than Wemby?
No,
I'm not doing that.
I mean, we've seen him in the playoffs.
but he
Come on.
really good.
Come on, we ain't
I've been
seen
off that.
Wemby in the playoffs. Hey, don't get off that. Julius Randle was awesome last night. Don't get off that. He
Yeah,
been awesome all playoffs.
I'm staying on that. The Wemby thing, I'm off that. That's
No. Get chill.
How
Chill.
many
We back
30-point
on the
games
Wemby
Wemby go
train.
in the playoffs? How many 30-point
None.
Stop.
None. All I'm saying is,
Stop,
man, y'all better get
How
Juju
many
some
Stop,
playoff
stop.
series Wemby won? How many
We were
playoff
giving
series
him
won?
respect. A lot
Don't
of
let
Wemby
Julius
play with
Randle
Aaron?
win a championship, chill. Then you're going to have to come back and say, you know what? I'm standing on my nuts.
I-
Juju
I-
greater than Wim Juice. That's what it's going to be.
I might have.
Wem
Yeah.
juice.
I may have to do that.
Yeah,
And if that day
Shout out
comes,
Wemby.
Jordan, I'm prepared to do that. If that
There
day
you
comes,
go. I'm prepared to do it right now.
I'm prepared to do it. So
I've been defending
yeah,
Julius
I am.
Randle all season. So I'm
I-
going to stick by defending Julius Randle.
I'm a
He's
Julius
a
Randle.
good basketball player.
He
He's
is.
That's what I'm
past
saying.
Paul
He's a good basketball
George.
player.
He's past Paul George. Say
Oh
that.
man, we're not gonna tolerate no Paul George slander.
So now we're
No
we
Paul
in
George
to
fan.
Ron's point. So now we in the Western Conference Championship right now because I don't think this thing going. I think they shut the Chase Center down last night. If I'm being honest with you, Ron.
The series was over the moment Steph Curry won.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think
We got
they
to talk
shut-
about that fraud, Jimmy Butler, too.
Man,
Well, hold on,
I
though,
saw
there's
that
a
last night.
chance
Come on
There ain't
now.
no
that
chance for
Steph
shit.
might be.
Don't be calling him no fraud.
Steph ain't coming
He is a
Steph is
fraud.
not
That
coming back,
nine
Steph
shots.
is not
Come on,
playing.
Penn.
No.
Him taking 9 shots in the game, not even looking at the rim. That's some Ben Simmons bullshit he did last night. Like, and I was
Jimmy
saying that
Butler,
against the
Ben Simmons.
Rockets.
Why can't we just accept the fact?
It
I gotta ask you a question, Ken.
Why can't we just accept the fact that these guys, Jimmy Butler in particular, maybe he ain't what he used to be. Like he could give me a game. He could possibly do that, which is what he did a couple of nights ago. He did that a couple of nights ago. He gave me a game. But why can't we accept the fact that he just ain't what he used to be? He can't.
Then he
take
should have
over a
stayed his
series
ass in. He
like
should have stayed his
he
ass
used
in
to.
Miami with Pat Riley.
no, he shouldn't have because it's different without Steph. If him and Steph together, they're gonna. Yeah, he's not. It's just different.
So
you know what I'm saying? But
Pin,
I gotta ask you a question, real quick, Pin. I need to know, Pin. Why is it that if Jimmy Butler played like ass last night, Jordan can't say that? If Lou Dort shoots his team into a hole, I can't say that. But you can sit here and talk about Jaylen Brown like a dog and blame him for Jason Tatum getting injured because of an injury. I'm just curious to know.
I didn't blame him for his injury. I said he got injured on a turnover from Jaylen Brown. Also, I just want to be clear.
I mean, that's
Jaylen Brown.
Gotcha. All right, just
bring up, you know.
I mean, Lou Dort is not in Jaylen Brown conversations, so use your logic. Domantas Sabonis not in Jokic
Don't use my logic. Don't use my logic. Use your own logic.
You don't need to be.
I'm trying to adapt.
Stay out of this bag. Stay out of this bag. It's too deep over here. You keep your own logic.
Your bag got holes in it, man. So basically you
stay over there, bro.
The whole bag.
Stay over there.
Your fish is drowning.
Stay in your bag.
Okay.
Don't touch this.
With that being said, though, I would Jimmy Butler has been shaky this series, and I'm watching the game last night, and I'm with Jordan. I find myself criticizing Jimmy Butler because I'm like, in Miami, you did all this fussing and fighting. Pat Riley was the enemy. They weren't giving you what you wanted. You did all this crying for the money, but with the money comes the obligation, Chill. And he has not fulfilled that obligation. He's signed an extension. He's getting paid all this money. Steph Curry, okay, Morris, I understand Steph Curry's not there, but
this isn't what he signed up for.
Jimmy Butler look healthy to you?
Shit, he got paid though, so shit.
All
I'm saying,
he got paid.
We saw him get hurt, right?
Yeah, but even when he was with the Rockets, even with the Rocket series, even with the Rocket series, I kept saying, y'all not tired of Jimmy Butler doing all that driving the pass bullshit he doing? Like all this driving the pad, like that shit is annoying. Like, bro, he don't even look at the goal. He just driving the pass and then got a serious ass face, like he trying to make the right plays and shit. It's like, yo, bro, fuck that shit. I know you trying to be all serious and shit, man. Do what you supposed to do. Go kill. All that take one dribble.
I think the Warriors are a better team. The Warriors are a better team even when Steph is available. When Jimmy Butler is aggressive,
of course.
Like he has to be a real number 2 player for them. Him running around and only scoring off cuts and grifts doesn't benefit the Warriors. With Steph
he
there
a role
or not.
player buckets guy now. That's what he is. Like he can give you
that shit is he did W Pat Riley. Get your bum ass out of here. Ain't paying you no bread.
Up the aggression, but even that was game 4 last night. So game 3, you saw like the aggression ramped up a little bit. And then by the 4th quarter, he was gassed. And guess what? He was standing in the corner again.
No, he was trying to make those serious ass plays, Mars, where he's looking straight face and shit. Like, man, get the fuck out of here, man.
He doesn't have that gear consistently anymore, where you can just put the ball in Jimmy's hands and say, "Oh yeah, you just gonna run the offense for him." I just don't think he has that. He's 35, I think.
Let me ask you.
He said he's still young though. When he scored 30, he's still young.
Real quick,
I said they old as hell.
Real quick,
said, yes, 37 and 35, but they not old. I was like, they old as hell. Like, goddamn, they old.
I don't think 35 is all that old.
The question that I have, Mark, is it because we've seen this? Because we've seen this, now we expect it consistently because we've seen it. No matter if these dudes are getting older, just because we've seen it, do we expect it now on the regular?
I think people have a hard time accepting potential regression. I think there's 2 sides to the coin. You've got
Steph is washed.
Yeah, you've got the sides of the coin where anytime an old player goes through a bad stretch, the end of the world has come. They have fallen off the cliff. The cliff is there. The Steph Curry is washed conversation from yours truly. The LeBron James is washed conversation from December. Those types of conversations where anytime an old player just goes through a bad run of form, their career is over. Whereas if a young player goes through that same run of form, it's just a slump, they'll get through it because they're 26. You think there's still light at the end of the tunnel. Then you've got the other side of the conversation where you've got insert old player has built up such a reputation where consistent evidence that goes against the reputation they've built is just seen as outliers. Repeatedly, it's an outlier. Jimmy Butler scores 8 points in a game. Well, we've seen Jimmy before. We just wait for the playoffs. Just wait for the playoffs. Jimmy Butler still not being aggressive in the playoffs consistently. Well, when the team needs it, he'll really bring it. When the team needs it, that's when he'll step up. Steph Curry goes down. He's still not bringing it consistently. Well, the Warriors really aren't on the brink of elimination right now. He'll bring it when they really need it. And then you got the game where the potential to go up 2-1 in the series. He shows you in the first half. See, this is the Jimmy. They're going to get this Jimmy. This is what they're going to get without Steph. And then in the second half, he fades away. And then you get game 4. He's non-existent for most of the game. Like, at some point, the repeated same outcome occurring, like, I think it's fair to I think it's okay to say Jimmy Butler isn't what he was a couple years ago. He's still a really good player. I think next to Steph, he's really effective. He does a lot of things that make him a great basketball player. He's an amazing connector. He can score against mismatches. He's really good at getting to the free throw line. He's a really good driver, really good passer, amazing defensively. He does all of those things. Asking him to be the spearhead of your offense in a playoff setting against an elite playoff defense, you're not going to get consistent elite results. I just don't think that's what you're going to get anymore.
Well, then,
and I don't think that's an indictment on him because they didn't bring him here to play without Steph Curry.
People get mad.
They couldn't foresee Steph Curry going down. Like, that's just tough.
People get mad when you bring up numbers, but honestly, numbers need to be fact checked against bullshit narratives. Okay, and this is all I'm going to say. Jimmy Butler wasn't in the playoffs last year, so the only thing we have to compare, if you're talking playoff performance, is what he was 2 years ago. Now, an average player between the age of 33 and 35 will experience some level of regression. The question is how much regression. Jimmy Butler is having the exact same true shooting percentage as he had in the last playoffs run, where he played 22 games. The shot diet is hang on. The shot diet's a little bit different.
Role player buckets. That's the shot diet. Role player bucket.
It is a little bit different. But 56% true shooting is a good number for a primary or secondary guy. And let's just agree that he was better with Steph. The usage is down a little bit, but the win shares per 48, the box plus minus is legitimately right there. The scoring is, he's gone from 34 points per 100 possessions to 28. So yeah, he's taking fewer shots, he's making fewer shots, and maybe you have an expectation that he's supposed to be, this alpha scorer. But the truth is, maybe that's something of his game that might be in the rear view. And so right now, he is a little bit more of a connective secondary option. Doesn't mean he's not a good player. It just means that Father Time catches up with all of us. And between the age of 33 and 35, I implore you to find me a player who actually got better.
Penn and Mars, can I tell you guys my issue? I understand the regression, and that's cool. This is my only issue with Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
You talked all of this shit about at the beginning of the year about getting your money, which rightfully so. You may have earned that money, and I'm not gonna be mad at any black man
watching.
But this is my thing. Steph Curry is gonna be the highest paid player next year, $59 million.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid, $55 million. Nikola Jokic, $55 million. Jason Tatum, $54 million. And ironically, you know who's gonna be getting paid just as much as Jason Tatum? Jimmy Butler. The money that you're getting does not match the production that you're giving. That is my and Penn, you can say I'm pocket watching, cool. The only reason why I'm bringing this up is because Jimmy Butler, you demanded this money. You said you were worth it. You said pay me this money or I'm not going to play and put up a big fight.
Was he looking worth it when Steph was there, in your opinion?
Yep. Every penny.
Because you called them a contender. You were saying they might go to the finals, they might win the chip. With Steph there,
Mars, I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this, and you're completely correct because I do think he's worth it when Steph is there. I do.
Well, that's why he was brought in. That's why he was.
Like he's getting paid that much because the Warriors weren't doing anything.
No doubt.
Maybe they are overpaying Jimmy, but I view like this is gonna be weird. Jimmy's getting paid all of that $54 million, but like I really view that as like Steph is worth like $75 million. And Jimmy is getting some of Steph's money to like make him a contender. If that makes sense.
No,
they needed Jimmy to be a contender, and they need to build a contender around Steph. So like technically, Jimmy's making $54 million, but it's really you're just paying $100 million to Jimmy and Steph. Divvy that up however you want. Is Jimmy and Steph together worth $100 million? Probably.
And that makes sense.
That's how I'm internalizing it anyway.
It's also
without Steph, he's obviously not as valuable.
It's just the context of, sometimes you just have to pay a little bit more to get what you want when you want it. Okay. And look, Pat Riley maybe didn't see Jimmy Butler as being worth that money, and that's fine. Some people maybe don't think Tyrese Halliburton, with some of his concerns earlier this year, was worth his money. People always want to do this. I'll tell you one thing in the NBA that is held true for all time. Most players get paid for what they've done. And Gilbert Arenas said this: you're not paying me for what I'm gonna do. You're paying me for what I've done. And while some people hate that logic, a lot of it is true. A lot of it
We
is
just
true.
had an
That's-
hour
I mean,
and a half.
that's-
For young
No,
players,
no,
I
no.
think it's the opposite.
Yeah, for
I was
young
about to say
players,
that
not
because-
somebody that's
Right.
Yeah.
We
Jalen Green
literally
got
just-
paid for what he's gonna do, not for
Yes.
what he's done.
We just had an
He
hour
got that extension
conversation.
for what he's
We just had an hour conversation
that's-
about drafting guys and paying them
Yeah.
on what we think they're going to do.
For sure.
opposed
Well,
to
that's
a guy
that's
like-
how that's how players want it. Players want it that way, but that's bad business. And I would advise any general manager and any owner to never do it that way.
No.
Don't never pay that way. But another thing I want to say and I want to ask y'all about is it time for us as basketball fans? Let's look at it from fans now.
Mhm.
Is it time for us as basketball fans to like let up on the management of older players? You know what I'm saying? Like if older players load managing, I think as basketball fans, we should kind of let up on that. You know what I'm saying? Like asking these 36, 37-year-old dudes to play 75, 80 games a season.
Not at $60 million,
you know what I'm
Ox. Not at no $65 million.
I don't care. It's okay, but 60, but then, but that's the part of
What
team
sparked
building.
this,
That's
this
the
idea
part.
for you,
That's well, because I'm looking at Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Hurt. I'm looking at Bron claiming he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking.
claiming.
Like, you could have just said that outside. You could have just said that outside.
Well, no, I only said that because he didn't miss any games. You know what I'm saying?
They have no more games left. They go back
It happened in the last game.
Well, how am I supposed to? You know what?
That's why I
Nah,
say Jason Tatum claiming he's hurt. Like,
You said what you were supposed to say. That man claiming he hurt. Fake limping out the arena.
Please,
you can say he hurt. You can say he hurt.
I ain't mean it like that, y'all. Please, I ain't mean it like that. But anyway,
I'm just saving you for the Brown fans. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saving you for the Brown fans.
See,
it's too late. I tried.
We got him.
Yeah, I tried.
We got him right where we want him. Throw him in the back seat.
They ran up on us
but
in droves.
yeah, but no, but I'm just saying though, like I mean, like for older players, I'm talking about the 34 and up club. You know what I'm saying? The 35 and up club. You know what I mean? Like, can we as basketball fans, let up on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool if you play 60 games. You know what I mean? Like 82, just to be, and that's a part of team building. If you can build a good enough team to where you can let Steph rest for 10 games, you know what I'm saying, out the season. I think that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And learn how to maybe play them a little less. That also allows younger guys to step up. I don't know, just the idea. I'm just not.
I don't think you have to outright miss games.
To your point, when the Heat were in the NBA Finals that year, Jimmy Butler had a 10-year stretch where he averaged 60 games. That's what he was. He was around 60 games a season on average. So that's probably who he is at this point. To Mars's point, though, is when they brought Jimmy Butler over to Golden State, he was there to complement Steph. That was the plan moving forward. He was not brought to Golden State to be the man like he was in Miami. This is kind of throwing a monkey wrench in everything that we're doing because Steph went down. So this is where we are now with this team. And now we got a situation because, to your point, Ox, we owe Jimmy Butler over the next 2 years $120 million. We still owe Steph Curry over the next 2 years. I know that sucks, Mars. We owe Steph Curry over the next 2 years another $120 million. Draymond's still on the books for what he on the books for. So we owe some people some money around here.
Yeah, Alex. I mean, I wanted to I hear what you're saying.
Also,
but
after this, real talk. After this, right quick, I want you to also talk about what you've been seeing in this series too. So go ahead, do your thing.
In the Timberwolves Warriors.
Yeah. Make your point first, though, that you was going to.
Okay. Yeah, I was going back to your business point though. Like, is that good business for me to pay a player that's older who's not available for the whole 82? Which, if you're in the Western Conference, that 82 matters because seeding, getting home court advantage, this, that, and the third, and then on top of that, if I'm not getting the regular season value out of you, and then you aren't like an elite playoff performer, then I'm overpaying you. Like I'm not maximizing my value with that Supermax contract. Now, if that player, if that 35, 36, 37-year-old player was willing to take a pay cut because he knows he's not really maximizing my Supermax for me on a game-to-game basis for the entirety of the season, then maybe we can talk. Because Tim Duncan, right, when he was getting older in San Antonio, he knew he was still a productive player, but I need to take less money to help out my organization because I'm not going to be playing the 82 game regular season. I'm not going to
right. Well, I'm not. Like I said, I'm talking about from the fans' point of view. I'm talking about us. Like can we let up on the lower management? Like management wise, if y'all can't pull that off and it makes sense in your books, or from coaching standpoint, if you can't do that and still win basketball games, then that's, you know what I'm saying, y'all do what y'all got to do. I'm just talking about for for us. Like I'm talking about just from the we putting our fan hats on. We're not GMing, we're not coaching, we're not playing, we're not nothing. We just fans. From a fan's point of view, I'm saying I think it's acceptable if they can figure it out on their end for an older guy to not play 75 games, and we'd be like, oh, he's sitting now, boo, fuck him, whatever fans, whatever we do, whatever we say. It's kind of like, yeah, these dudes are 36, 37, and if you can't play, because like I said the other day, there's dudes that have retired from basketball that are still better than people that are playing basketball, but their body can't play 82 games in playoffs. You know what I'm saying? It's dudes that have been retired for a couple seasons now that are cooked some of these dudes in a game, but they can't do it for 82. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. If you can work it out on your team and have a guy out here that you feel that load managing will help get him through the playoffs, we don't got to deal, because tearing your hammy, you know what I'm saying, that's usually kind of a fatigue thing or lack of stretching or just old muscles. You know what I'm saying? From my point of view, I'm not a doctor. That's just what I've heard. You know what I'm saying?
Laws, we just think that these dudes ain't never gonna get old. They getting old.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. As you so chill. If you and like, obviously I don't mean to make athletes look like livestock, right? But if you want to farm and you got an animal that's working and they're getting older, you kind of lessen the load, and then once it's time, you set them out the pasture. But until then, you lessen the load, and that's all I'm saying. Is it okay to lessen the load on some of these older dudes so that Steph Curry doesn't tear his hamstring?
But we ain't got to pay all.
That makes sense.
I've had no problem with it for years.
Right. I'm chill once again. Like real talk pointed out. I understand the other aspects. I'm just talking about if we put our fan hats on, maybe can we sit back and be like, oh, that's cool. We could dig it. You know what I'm saying?
As a fan, I've understood it for
the Spurs
for
did it very well for years. People complained about it all the time. They would rest perfectly healthy players. Tim Duncan, they lessened his loads. His minutes went down. I do think that people look at players like Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki taking, let's say, salary reductions, and they say, why can't other players do that? Why shouldn't other players do that? And here's what I'm going to say. I will never support the pocketbooks of billionaires in favor of millionaires, ever. I'm never going to sit here and say, you got to give this guy a discount. We don't do this at any other level. I will never go to you, Ox, and be like, oh, you got to go.
I don't understand this talking point because it's not
they're paying you
it's a salary cap league.
Oh, it is a salary cap league, but go get your paper, okay? Jimmy Butler been underpaid for most of his life. Let's just be real about that. He was underpaid as the 30th overall pick. He massively outperformed that contract. I think he massively outperformed every contract he's ever been on. And you know what? At the end of your career, you might get some of that money back as a legacy payment. Okay, you're a big name in a championship context, next to a championship player, next to an organization that is worth close to $6 billion. I think they can spare a couple more $1 million for Jimmy Butler. Get your money, Jimmy Butler. I just wish that the NBA narrative didn't so decidedly turn against players who are a little bit overpaid for what they've done in the past, who are not performing relative to those expectations, because, you know, you got fans threatening Bradley Beal's family right now because he's overpaid and they're frustrated with him. Go be frustrated with the team that traded for him. Go be frustrated with the right person, the owner. Don't be frustrated with these players, man. Chill on that.
I mean, again, but this goes back to what I was saying about like trying to win, because they weren't frustrated when it was Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant first coming together, and they thought, you know, they had a chance.
It's a championship material right here.
You cooking real talk. My thing with that pen, I try my hardest to stay out of rich niggas' business. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what you deserve. That's not my tax bracket, bro. I don't know. You getting 70? What? Oh well, shit. You know, do your thing,
you should flip flop your philosophy. So you can mess with them and leave me alone.
People say people are overrated. People said OG was overpaid. People said Franz was overpaid. People said Cade was overpaid. People said all these people. Every time someone signs a new contract, there's always a bunch of people on the internet saying this guy overpaid, this guy overpaid. And then a year later, when they outperform that contract, I don't hear nothing. But if they underperform it, people be bitching for years. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fellas. Real talk, right quick before we get into these super chats. What's your thoughts on this Warriors and Wolves series?
The Warriors Wolves series. I mean, it's been fun. It's been a doozy, but it's over. I mean,
Bye.
yeah. I mean, it's real simple. The series is over when Steph went down. Jimmy Butler cannot really produce as an offensive number one like they need him to right now with Steph being down. Draymond starts games, off hitting threes, and then he goes back to regular Draymond as the game goes along. B-Pods is also another player that's been disappointing for them that nobody's talking about for the Warriors. B-Pods was supposed to be another player that's supposed to, have grown and taken a step offensively, but he's not producing for him. Buddy Hield has been their best offensive player. So shout out to him.
Shout out to Draymond too, shooting the hell out that three.
I feel bad.
In that first half, he faked him
Kuminga personally. Like Kuminga only getting a run when Jimmy or Steph are unavailable, and then he's out there just having to try and initiate offense and save the team basically. Yeah. And then the moment Steph and Jimmy are back, he's back to DMPs. Like that's not a role. That's
and then on top of that, Mars, to watch him and see what he's doing on the floor. If you even are the casual NBA fan, you're watching him going, why is he not playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can score the ball. Like,
I think he's playing good defense in this series.
Yeah, he's been playing solid defense too.
I think he's been playing good defense. I think he's played well. I think what game was it that he maybe it was game 3 that he played really well. Him and maybe it was game
2 or 3.
Yeah, one of them games he played really well. Like, I think he's been really good in this series. It's just unfortunate that I understand it, but I do think it's unfortunate that his role is just entirely dependent on Steph or Jimmy being hurt.
Shout out to Gilbert Arenas, because Gilbert Arenas has been on this Jonathan Kuminga story for a while, and he's been using Jonathan Kuminga as one of the downsides to NBA business, because basically what he's been saying is Steve Kerr in Golden State has been lowering his value by not playing him and then sticking him in situations where he's not going to look too good. Out of nowhere in that Rocket series, it was Kuminga, here's 5 minutes. I don't know. It's well, damn, I ain't played in 4 weeks, and now I'm in the middle of a playoff game. And now, if I come out here and don't play well, now I don't look good, and I've been benched. It's been a shit show for Jonathan Kuminga. I hope he can leave and get paid and flourish.
That relationship is beyond repair.
Yeah, it sounds like that chick that she only call when number 1, number 2, and number 3 ain't available. She only calling you at that time. She ain't calling you.
That's exactly what he is. That's exactly what he is.
Mm-hmm. She ain't calling.
Sometimes it's good to be number 4.
Mm-hmm.
We found out some people don't even have a number 1. Chill. That's what you told them in the chat. They ain't got 1. You got 6. Damn, embarrassment of riches.
Just so you know, Jimmy Butler. These how many shots he took last night in the 4th quarter.
Hey Sam. Hey Sam. You got anything to say, brother?
Yeah. Okay. You got a spare mic. I love it.
Luncho, you got anything to say? Actually, look, I got 2 mics for him. One for Luncho and one for Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Anything? Crickets?
Mm-hmm.
All these mics, and he can't read one super chat.
Not one.
Crazy.
Not one.
You're right. Pardon me, everybody. I forgot my glasses, so this could get a little rough. But well, my contacts actually. I don't wear glasses. I wear contacts. But we'll make it happen. Either way it goes. If I can't get through them, certainly Ox got me, and if Ox don't got me, certainly the dude with the red do-rag hold it down for us. All right, so Nappin Trey said the basketball gods have spoken. Tanking teams don't deserve Coop.
Facts. Stop tanking, man. Play basketball. Sucker shit.
Yeah, one could argue. Yeah. The Mavs tanked that last playing game.
That reminds me of what Cardi B said, Ox. Broke guys don't deserve what?
I don't know. I don't listen to Cardi.
I know that's right.
She was at the Knicks game.
She was. Her and a certain NFL player.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out
but
to
his
him.
roster is elite.
Kylie was
elite
there
roster.
Yeah, so was Kendall, but shout out to all of them. Drink more agua, said John. With you saying Washington should take Malawach, since they failed to 5th and pair him with Sarr, with the way the playoffs are going, are you comfortable with double big lineup in today's NBA? How you like that?
John not here, so I guess I don't know. I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I love it. I think Sarr's way more natural as a 4 anyway, and Washington has shown this obsessive desire to have long, lengthy wingspan, athletic guys, Bilal Coulibaly plus Alex Sarr plus, Keyshawn George plus, I mean, wow, you're doing good stuff here. So I could certainly see them taking him, but I could also see them taking a shot maker like Trey Johnson. I could see
they
it.
took Bub last year. He was meant to be a shot maker.
Yeah.
I think Alex Sarr's a 4. I thought he was a 4 coming into the league anyway. So putting a legitimate center next to him, I think that can work. But you are projecting a lot of growth offensively from Alex Sarr, who had, for lack of a better terms, a rough rookie year offensively. But there are signs of potential there if you go back and watch what he was doing in Australia. And then you go back and look at what some of the things he did in his rookie year. That Denver game comes to mind where he had like 34 maybe. Like you look at those and you take those flashes, you think if you can work on the shot mechanics a little bit more, make the handle slightly more functional. The biggest issue with him is just it seems to be finishing at the rim. Just get stronger, develop his touch a little bit, counter moves. Like there's growth there. So I think it can work. He just has to develop a lot offensively, but that's what you're banking on, development. He's 20, I think. So
Absolutely.
Hans Walker with an interesting super chat. Hans said, KD to the Mavs, the most obvious trade of all time. Nico wants to win now. Plus, he has a relationship with KD due to Nike. Gafford wants starting money. Suns aren't tanking. PJ Gafford and Clay, and a first for KD.
that's where I'm at. If KD wants to go to Dallas, I think he's going to end up in Dallas. You're going to have Kyrie when he comes back from injury, Max Christie, KD, Coop, and Anthony Davis. And then Najee Marshall off the bench or something.
That's
Derek Lively.
crazy.
That's what I expect to happen.
Good job, Nico.
That's what I expect to happen.
Good job, Nico.
Now, I will say we don't need to turn it into a whole segment. If the Mavs are able to put that together.
Yeah, no, talk about it.
Not did they win the trade. We can keep did they win the trade out of it.
Mhm.
Are the Mavs in a good position?
They're in
No,
a great
actually,
spot.
they did win. Hang on. Mars, they don't get a lottery pick if they don't make that trade. So, with the benefit of hindsight,
That is true.
I can make an argument right now that they've already won that trade.
In the short
Arguably,
It was written.
Low
It was
key,
written.
in the short term, I think that's possible. But I think we all said I know I said that in the short term, I thought the Mavs would be better off than the Lakers. It was just the long term. But now they've got Coop. I still think they're losing the trade. But like it does make their long term future look slightly better, especially if they can get KD. Then you've got the short term window, and then with Coop, you've got the
If you ran a GM poll right now between Cooper Flag and Luka Doncic, there are at least, I will bet my life on it, there's at least 30% of GMs that would take Cooper right now. One for one.
Yo, Penn, I can't run a GM poll,
Nico being one.
but I can run a chat poll, and I am running a chat poll. Did the Mavs actually win the trade? So you guys,
Good job, Nico.
Let us know.
Good job, Nico.
And for anyone like saying that like Coop would have to be in that trade for KD, there is no way in hell. A,
No.
that's but B, that expiring contract Kevin Durant at turning 37 next season is getting Coop back in the trade package. There's just no way.
No, it's not.
Like we've got to think he's expiring, so he has control of where he wants to go in truth.
Brian Windhorst,
the dumbest GM wouldn't do that, Mars. The dumbest GM wouldn't do that. No, he wouldn't.
KD's not going to be worth the haul that I think you guys think.
Brian
Not because he's not
Windhorst,
great.
Brian Windhorst said yesterday that he was pressed, I think, by Stephen A. Smith, and he said, Giannis or Cooper Flag. Like if the if whatever, like if the team that gets Cooper Flag, if they could trade for Giannis, which would you rather have? He said Cooper. So again, this is not crazy. He's an 18-year-old kid. Yeah, there's a lot of projection or whatever, but as an asset, he's going to walk into the NBA as one of the top 10 assets in the league.
I mean, we had that discussion first, you know.
Yeah,
we did it first.
And I guess they watching the panel.
And I'm standing on that, by the way. I'm keeping.
We did. I definitely brought it up. We talked about it.
See you, young fella, Giannis.
Nico
Nico
Harris said, "Defense wins championships." He now has Anthony Davis, and he now has Cooper Flag.
And
that's potentially Kevin Durant when that happens.
We don't got time to get all into it, but
I'm Najee Marshall.
Yeah,
it's just an unproven commodity. I want the guy that I know for sure today is what he is.
No, yeah, I want Giannis for sure, but they doing their thing.
I'm gonna run that poll next, chat. Who would you guys rather have, Giannis or Cooper? But as of right now, Teddy Hart has sent through another super chat, and he said, "When I saw two teams jump into the top 4 early, I just knew Philly was gonna fall outside of the top 6." Given their pick to OKC, and somehow they still cracked the top 3. F out of here.
Whoever was narrating the draft lottery made my heart drop. Because when someone fell, I think it was maybe the Pelicans fell, he was like, oh, that moves the Philly pick into the top 5, which means it's going to go to OKC. I thought Coop was going to OKC. And then OKC, and then the Philly pick moved into the top 3. But for like 14 seconds, I really thought Cooper Flag was going to OKC. And I was like,
it had to 6. It had to be top 6 in order for Philly to keep it.
But when one team moved down, I can't remember what team it was that moved down. One of them moved down.
Two teams.
Yeah, but it was after the first team moved down, I think. He said that moves Philly into the top whatever, which means it would go to. That's what he said. He said it would go into OKC.
It projects Philly as being the 7th.
It didn't project him getting Coop. My fault. It projected the pick going to OKC, so I thought OKC was getting the 7th pick. And I was like, "There's no, yeah."
But then
I bugged out on that. My fault. But like, that's what I thought.
Like OKC walked. I thought
OKC was getting a high lottery pick.
OKC walked in with a 0% chance at Cooper Flag.
That's on me. My fault. I got everything messed up. But I thought OKC was getting a really good pick. That's what I thought.
Right.
My mind's went left.
Cowboy Bob said Tatum was a beast last night. I know if the Knicks win, people like Swiper will say the Knicks won due to Tatum being hurt and Boston missing shots. We'll never give credit to coaching and adjustments. Go New York, go.
The Knicks won that.
Sure, I told you.
Yes, they did.
The Knicks were winning before Tatum went down, but that was also to Ron's point.
And they were gonna win that game anyway. Even if
about the missing the shots. Their game is so predicated on a variance-heavy shot, which is the 3-point shot. So.
We got to do something else. The game plan's got to change next
living
season.
in the mid-range and Mikal Bridges and Brunson.
Which we got to have a conversation in the offseason about what the Boston Celtics are going to do because they're going to lose Jason Tatum next season. So what's the plan?
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know yet.
Chill.
It could be a broke foot, you know.
They'll be all right. They got Sam Hauser.
No. Non-contact injury like that, I don't think it's a.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. But you could break a bone in your foot non-contact, but it probably. We all know what it probably is. We all know what it probably is. But a non-contact injury doesn't always necessarily mean an Achilles. But we're just praying for the best. I'm just trying to keep it positive. Hey, chill. But I told you, Cowboy. Told you he's serious about Swiper.
Yeah, he
want all the smoke with Swiper. He don't want some of it, or he want all the smoke with Swiper.
Cowboy texted me last night. He gonna get the smoke he asking for.
Next PCL.
Swiper was on
PCL. Next episode.
Oh, my fault.
Swiper was on Chill with Chill. This past Saturday at noon Eastern, he was on Chill with Chill, and Cowboy Bob popped up like the boogeyman. Talking about he won those Swiper. As a matter of fact, this Saturday at noon Eastern, he probably will pop back up on Chill with Chill looking for Swiper. So
on the Playback Network, ladies and gentlemen, but with Big Ox and Chill, come check us out. 12 o'clock Eastern. Come check us out.
And Cowboy Bob, when you do pull up, the only way I'm gonna let it happen is if you demand that Ron puts you on the big screen. You got to have that type of energy so we can make it worth it. But MP13 said, watching Jaylen Brown need to look at the ball to dribble in traffic is crazy. He's almost 30. He's been in the league way too long to have the same problem we talked about 4 years ago. He's weak as hell. Damn.
I just think people just think weaknesses can just be turned into non-weaknesses. I think Jaylen Brown's just never going to be a good ball handler.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown probably works on his handle more than Kyrie does.
It's just he's never going to be a good ball handler.
Not going to dribble the ball like
if that was the case, then every NBA player with weaknesses, they would just be fixed. Like, you think Mitchell Robinson's just purposely missing free throws?
No,
like I'm sure he's working on them free throws. They're just not going in.
No, that air ball was on purpose, Morris. He did that shit on purpose.
I think skill development is understated in terms of how difficult it really is to develop these skills at the NBA level.
The Baller Shot Caller 1999 said, I agree with what Morris said yesterday about the Pacers being the best conditioned team in the NBA. And I think they might run everyone off the floor this year and take it all.
I would love to see the Pacers win a championship.
Me too.
I think OKC can run with them though.
DSG Piccolo
said
the Blazers are finally up for sale. It was originally a part of his will, but now they are for sale. I know some fans want Phil Knight, Nike, I think, to buy the team.
Yeah, he's Nike for sure. I can see that happening.
I joined Blazers FC and the team getting sold.
See what you did, Mars?
Hey, shit, y'all. Hey, y'all should buy some Nike stock real quick.
Man, for real.
Just in case.
Yeah, I think that'd actually be dope. I don't know if that is a conflict of interest or anything, but I would love Phil Knight to be the owner of the team. I mean, he already owns Oregon University Athletics, so why not keep it in Portland?
Motherfucker on everything. I live in Beaverton and that shit. So, all Phil Knight.
Superman Real said, Perk said that for a fact, Giannis wants to stay on the East Coast. Would y'all trade Cat or Tatum for him because him and Dame will be back the following season? Bucks can't tank and be great the next season. Would you trade Cat or Tatum for Giannis?
No.
Or would you trade for Cat?
Wait.
Are you saying trade Giannis for them or just
would you trade Cat for Giannis, basically?
I mean,
I think Tatum is obvious, no, but Cat for Giannis.
I would trade Cat.
Hell no, I'm not taking Cat. I mean, I would give you Cat for Giannis, but I wouldn't take Cat for Giannis.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Cat got to come with OG and Josh Hart for me to even think about it.
Man, Giannis staying in Milwaukee, man.
All right, well, shout out to Debo. Debo became a YouTube member. Salute to him. Tough Bradley said, hey, shout out to the Powerball, the only lottery where my Hornets have an actual chance.
Yeah, dropping to the fourth is tough.
Hunter 3200 said, we need to have a combo about Brunson and where he ranks among NBA point guards, scorers, and overall players, and OG among the elite defenders as well.
I think he's the fourth best point guard in the league. I've said that for well over a year at this point. I think he's the fourth best point guard in the league. Scorer, I think he's a top 10 scorer. I don't know where he ranks among the whole NBA, though. I couldn't tell you.
And as far as OG Anunoby goes, he is the best defender in the NBA.
Oh boy,
wing defender. I've been trying to tell you.
I'm not mad at it.
OG don't play.
2K God sent through a members chat and said the Cavs won the lottery in 2014 and Braun returned. Braun to Dallas.
Yeah, that was another lottery that was rigged. You know, had to give the Cavs some trade assets for the LeBron return. See right through it. Just like that Derrick Rose draft. So obviously
that was rigged. Yeah.
So 4 drafts have been rigged for LeBron. The Cleveland draft, where they drafted him.
03,
14.
And
03, 14. Hang on, but also the Zion.
19. You could argue. Yeah,
19.
Yeah.
And now this one, the AD repayment.
85 was rigged too to get Ewing.
85 was
that was actually rigged though. That's different.
85 was for sure rigged.
Don't
93 was rigged to get Shaq some help.
That was in 92, you mean?
No, that was 92 was Shaq getting drafted. 93 was rigged
Webber.
to get Shaq some help.
How was it rigged, Mark?
Should have kept Webber.
The Magic shouldn't have had that number 1 pick.
They didn't have the number 1 pick. The Warriors had the number 1 pick.
And they
traded it. They traded the player right after they drafted him.
Yeah, but it was
and 4 1s. That's not rigged.
No, it was rigged. It was rigged.
Okay.
The
draft is not rigged, guys. Come on.
It is
draft
not.
was rigged. The Wemby draft was rigged.
Well, if it's not rigged, it should be. It's bad business to leave this much money up to chance.
I can't remember what other drafts were rigged, but they were.
Let's be real. Let's not be naive about it. There's definitely things in the NBA that are definitely moved around and put aside, leapt over, ignored. You know,
Sure.
Come on, man.
Well,
You
shout out to the
thought they
script
was going to let
It's
Cooper
too much
Flag
money.
go to Utah. Like, come on.
Shout out to the script writers.
Was that not happening? Was that not happening? Real talk.
Nah, he wasn't going to no Utah. He going to a big market. We're not.
If it ain't rigged, if it ain't rigged, it should be, y'all. It's way too much money. Way too much.
All right,
How about
Jim.
I'll see y'all dudes tomorrow, yo. Out.
All right, Jim.
I believe 100% in protecting my investments to the best of my ability. And shit, and you think I'm finna be out here playing with all this money? I
feel
need that pick, Adam. Adam, you better give me that pick. Nico Life was on the line.
Also, shout out to Brett Bovia and shout out to DQ. DQ said, I'm excited, even though our series with the Cavs ain't over. If we make it to play the Knicks, we go into game 7 for sure. Hashtag let's go Pacers, baby. And that's not what
you could have just said
That'll be a nice
Zoom
rematch because the Knicks got hurt last year when they played the Pacers.
They gonna get hurt this year.
Crazy.
Stepping against the big dogs.
All right.
Think they could play with us. But the baller shot caller 1999 said it's a great fit, question mark. He's literally going to be the third option when Kyrie comes back. Is Cooper a good fit?
Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I ain't worried about his offense. He gonna be the pinnacle of role player buckets his rookie year. I don't care about his offenses. What does he do for the team defensively is what's gonna be interesting to me.
Flips sent through a super chat and said, Embiid Football Club, we up. Trade Paul George and picks for Claxton plus Cam Johnson. Let Joel rest as long as he needs with Claxton starting. Maxey, Quentin Grimes, Ace Bailey, Cam Johnson, and Joel. You like that?
Why would the Nets take
wouldn't
Paul
do
George?
that.
Yeah, why would the Nets take Paul George's long contract for Cam Johnson, probably their best asset, and Claxton, who maybe they believe in having a resurgence at some point?
Yeah, like people really need to adjust their minds to the fact that the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards are not stupid teams anymore. They used to be stupid teams. They used to do really stupid things.
Anymore.
They don't do those stupid things.
Hey,
anymore.
the Wizards got off Kyle Kuzma and got AJ Johnson and Chris Middleton.
Absolutely, and
have people thinking somehow they lost the trade.
Yeah, and Sean Mark's a really, really good general manager over in Brooklyn. He's a really good dude, and he's done a great job, finding a lot of talent. So, look, Daryl Morey once said, the league is best when 6 teams don't know what they're doing. It's usually the best, right? Because everyone farms off those 6 teams. Everybody rips those 6 teams off. Now we're in a situation where I don't know if there are 3 teams that don't know what they're doing. A lot of teams do know what they're doing. Some teams just changed up their, head office, and the Atlanta Hawks, the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll see what this new brain trust does, but I'm just saying, like, people need to adjust their eyes and say the Wizards are a trash team. Yeah, they haven't operated like a trash team for a while now.
Well, speaking of which, Pin, my man sent through a members chat, and he said the Wizards got hold. F the NBA, and he said, Pin, stop hating on Sar.
I don't hate on Sar at all. Fuck out of here.
You take that, Zach Spaz said Cooper's contract is
close your mouth,
Cooper's contract.
That's a good one.
Cooper's contract is going to put the Mavs over the second apron. Something to pay attention to as well.
That's interesting.
Shit, they ain't tripping, man. They need to win right now. Damn all that.
If they want to trade Coop for a cheaper contract, Houston will take him. Portland will take him too.
Flo.
I thought you was done with Houston.
Depends on who they draft. Let's see.
Flo sent through a members chat and said, should the NBA ban T10 pick, top 10 picks 2 years in a row like the MLB?
That was Penn's idea somewhat, right? That you can't be in the lottery 3 years straight or something?
Yep. You get moved down to 14 automatically. Yeah.
Julius Irvin said, chill. It's an entertainment business. In any business, money is the bottom line. If rigging a draft means more money for the business, the owners are for it. Fair or unfair?
I will say this. I don't prescribe to the theory that it's rigged, but the Raptors, literally after that Luka deal, they completely pivoted away from the tank. They stopped going to the bottom. They were like the second or third worst team in the league. They immediately went on this huge run. They traded for Brandon Ingram. And yesterday when I was watching the draft lottery, like the ball selection and stuff, they didn't even care. They weren't even looking at their codes. It's almost like if it was rigged, trust me, it wasn't rigged. It was fixed. Everybody had to agree to this for this to work. And look, at the end of the day, what that chat is saying is right. If it's good for the league, it's good for everybody. All this media rights deal, the TV rights deal shit, everyone getting paid off this. The players getting paid for this. So to the fan base out there that thinks that the Wizards got screwed, they signed off on it. If it was rigged, everybody knew about it. That's the whole point.
DSG Piccolo said, I ain't happy with the results. It smells fishy, but I got to trust in Mike Schmidt. Adam Silver, a bum. Now Wemby plus Giannis soon. Shaking my head. We see what it is.
And the Spurs need to come up off that 2 and that 14 and go get Giannis.
For real. By any means necessary.
I don't give a damn about Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, none of them little ass boys. Man, go get Giannis.
Avery B said how long they have been interviewing the presumed number one pick after the lottery, saying congrats on going to X. I don't remember that before Wemby or Flag.
I couldn't tell you.
I felt like that was kind of disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie. Like I don't really watch the draft lottery thing, but when I watched
we know who's going one though. Like, why do we have to act like it's a mystery? Like in the Wemby draft, we're like, Wemby, where do you think you're going? Like, we know he knows he's going.
I understand, but no, never that. But I'm just saying, like, to say it's just a foregone conclusion means that, you know, to the other guys, Edgecombe, Bailey, Harper, all the other guys, it's like to them. So then what am I even? What am I going
for 2 and below?
Yeah. Like Wemby. I mean, maybe so. I'm just saying we've seen things happen.
There's a consensus number one.
I understand. There's a consensus number one. I know. I'm just saying.
All right. Jalen sent through a members chat and said Cooper in the West plus AJ to Utah soon. LOL.
See, AJ can go to Utah.
he decided to go to Utah. He made that decision. He wants to be in Utah. So now
see if he still wants to be in Utah after 1 year in Utah.
Yeah. MTHJ, yeah.
He played there in high school.
17 years in Utah. There you go, close enough.
Like he's comfortable there.
They're really the
same. He's not. At
some point you want to expand your horizons. I mean, I know if I was in Utah,
but we don't know if he's comfortable there or none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else, but he's like to Real Talk's point. He's not Cooper Flag. He can go to Utah. Coop can't go to Utah.
Yeah, no.
MTHJ 301 said hot take. Jaylen Brown to Dallas for a pick or picks. Maybe Drew and Peyton too.
Well, apparently they're going over the second apron with Coop. I don't know how they are affords and Jaylen Brown.
So they about to go over the fifth apron. Let's go, Dallas. Toon sent through a super chat and said, NBA equals WWE. Makes it better. Nico, the greatest dual GM. That is heat. We're from dual quarterbacks to dual GMs. Keep going, Nico. Keep going. Love Fadina said, Jordan, you right. Jordan, you right when you said AJ cried too much, but you ain't watched enough at all if you think he can't get his own shot off. Just ain't true.
Cook him.
Is that the guy that gets compared to Analyze? I don't really keep up with the
one that compared that they compared to Analyze is the one that was taking AJ's lunch at the Nike Hoop Summit.
Yeah, look like gonna have a tough time.
You guys at the other end of this, this makes me feel really confident about my take. All right.
That's great. No, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? When I'm sitting there watching the two kids play, and I'm 10 feet away from them, and one of them is a lot more aggressive than the other one, and the other one can't get what he wants to get off against other people, I tend to think other things, you know what I'm saying?
Scotch Tape said, when are we going to talk about how Utah is going into year 4 of a rebuild and they have made 0 progress since? Danny Ainge ain't washed? ?
It's a very weird rebuild going on in Utah, in my opinion. Only thing I like over there right now is that coach.
I don't know what Danny got cooking up over there, but hey.
Will Hardy, I like. I think Isaiah Collier's cool. I think Filipowski had a cool rookie season.
Keontae George?
I'm not as high on Keontae as some other people.
I'm not high on him either.
I think Taylor Hendricks next year, healthy, that would be interesting. But overall, they haven't got much in terms of not a big fan of Cody Williams, but hopefully he can figure out meh.
All right, y'all. We got 3 new members. The first one is Impeccable J. Shout out to Impeccable J. And shout out to Brian. And also shout out to Jordan God. Those 3 all became YouTube members today. So salute to them. And then probably my favorite super chatter out of everybody. And I know it's a lot. We got a super chat from a guy named Arch Diddy. Mr. Diddy said, will this be the season we stop overrating the regular season? I hate teams like the 15 Hawks, the 22 Jazz, the 18 Hawks, and the 25 Cavs. Can you smell the fraudulence?
Fans,
I just don't think the Cavs are in that group. I'm sorry.
They're not. They're not. And fans need to decide whether they're going to complain about the regular season or not. I'm going to value the regular season because it's there for a reason. It's 82 games, and you got to go out there and play. Now, do you have to think that because they're one team is the number one team in the West and the other team is the number one team in the East, that means automatically they're the best teams or follow the ranking per se? No, but the regular season is there to be valued and and be watched.
Regular season definitely matters, y'all. Regular season matters for sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
The baller shot caller said, do you think the Rockets are going to get rid of Jalen Green and other pieces for Giannis or KD and develop Reed Shepherd?
Not for KD, I don't think. For Giannis, if I had to guess, if the Rockets were going to make a Giannis offer, I'd expect it to be Şengün in the package, not Jalen Green. Just because it makes more sense for the Bucks to want the better player.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up logically that Jalen Green can both suck and be then the centerpiece of a Giannis trade package. Those two things don't add up. Like, I'm sorry. You can't tell me the guy's trash and then tell me he's going to be the key piece going out in a Giannis deal.
Well, he's not trash, though.
That doesn't make sense. The same people telling me they need to trade Jalen Green in the Giannis package are telling me Jalen Green is a terrible player. Then what does that mean about Giannis trade value? So, like, I think it would be Şengün in that package. Because of the fit, just like the spacing, the shooting, the Şengün isolation stuff.
Giannis at the 5
because Şengün has weight.
Probably.
Y'all know they're not giving the Rockets Giannis without a min, right?
That's tough.
If I was the Rockets, I would not be.
And that's somebody's gonna get hung up on. I don't know who, but somebody's getting.
Yeah, if I'm the Rockets, I wouldn't be trading a man. But
should have kept him in coming off the bench. Man, you blew it.
But KD, I think the Rockets can get KD for a cheaper asking price. But I if I was a betting man, I would say KD ends up in Dallas. If I was a betting man.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Melo Williams said Ben Simmons was supposed to be like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Remember that?
It's supposed to be like Magic Johnson, I thought. It was supposed to be
Yeah,
like
he was.
LeBron.
He was a little LeBron.
LeBron, Magic, Giannis.
I also think it's relevant that prior to the 2021 playoffs, he wasn't on that trajectory. I'm not saying that. But Ben Simmons was legitimately one of like the 20 best players in the world. Like
he was dope. He was super dope.
But obviously now everything that happened, I do think the back injury gets undersold in terms of how much that's actually affected him. But like he's just not what he was 4 or 5 years ago. But he was really good once.
He was a freak athlete, really.
He was having a mental breakdown before the back though.
Yeah, I think the back. I think the mental stuff, like only Ben knows really how much that's affected him. I just think you can see physically that he doesn't move the same as he used to. And I think a lot of that has to do with the back. But like the lack of scoring aggression, I think that's all up here. But only he.
Do you know what Giannis's draft comparison was?
I've heard it before, but I couldn't
Nicolas Batum.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And I think he said like, if I end up being Batum or something, don't draft me. Something to that effect.
I don't remember that, but
so disrespectful.
Story about that. Basically, like he was saying, like
way better.
They also compared him to Luke Mbamute.
Hey, respect my goat Mbamute. Respect Mbamute.
Shout out Luke Richard for real.
Respect Mbamute. Shout out to Nick Batum too. I don't even know if he has to surpass him all time yet. That's a whole different conversation. But no, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't trolling. I was a joke.
Super Ayoga 4 said if Luka tests free agency, which teams would he fit best in besides Dallas?
Miami.
Don't fit in Dallas.
Orlando.
He don't fit in Dallas.
Orlando could hide a lot of his deficiencies.
Orlando would be crazy.
I know where. The Boston Celtics. Get JT a little more help.
Who would be the best player on that team?
JT.
Luka.
Shit, Jaylen Brown.
The Celtics haven't updated anyone on the MRI for Jason Tatum yet.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad. I forgot about the injury from last night. I probably shouldn't have. Today
I thought you was just being an asshole. I ain't even.
Yeah, that's why I assumed.
That's why.
The report from Shams right now. The report from Shams is that the Celtics have put Jason Tatum through MRIs and they're bracing for the worst. But we haven't heard anything about Achilles, ACL. I actually looked at the injury a few times. I'm wondering, could it possibly be a Liz Frank injury?
That was the first thing I thought. Pin was like that's a foot break, right?
Yeah, it's a midfoot injury. It's the same thing.
They would know if it's an Achilles tear within 5 minutes.
Yeah, they would. There's a really quick test for it. So I don't think if you haven't heard from them, it's either they're being deliberately, maybe they're trying to protect him and his privacy or whatever. Maybe they don't want to bring it out. His reaction to an Achilles tear was nothing like any reaction to an Achilles tear I've ever seen. He rolled around on the ground and couldn't put any weight on it. We saw Kobe walk. And if he tore his Achilles with as big a Kobe fan as he was walking off. So I don't think it's an Achilles tear, guys. Speculating.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not saying what
but I get what you're saying.
But they would have known if he torn his Achilles. Maybe he did. But all I know, if he's torn his Achilles, they knew yesterday. They knew already. Yeah. In the locker room, they would have known if his Achilles was torn. They wouldn't need MRI. They would have known. So whether or not they
even though still you still have to do the MRI though, Mars. Either way.
Yeah, but they would have had with 90. I don't know the 100%. They would have known.
Yeah. If it is an Achilles, I think they probably we don't have to rush and tell y'all nothing. We just take care of it ourselves. But that's all I was saying earlier though. Even though it's non-contact, let's not just assume it's the Achilles. I've seen people break their foot without falling on the wrong, just taking a funny step. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. I do think it's serious, but it might not be as bad as you know what I'm saying people were saying. And just in JT's reaction, we don't know how his mind works. He could have just been reacting really upset because he knows it's serious. You know what I'm saying? They down right now. He wants to win another ring. He might have just seen that going. So I don't want to speculate, just because who's either way, we don't know, and let's just hold on tight and just pray for the best.
We just saw Dame react to it. We just he wasn't rolling around. That's not the sensation you get. The sensation
it's two different people though. It's two different people.
Yeah, everyone reacts to it different, but
there was no confusion with him.
Chet missed his whole rookie year with a Liz Frank injury.
Yes, he did. Look, every player who's torn their Achilles, there's always a moment of what? That's weird. There's not a moment of I'm in so much pain. So I understand what you're saying, where he might be frustrated, but that wasn't his reaction. From what I was his reaction wasn't, oh no, his reaction was, this shit hurts bad, right? And that's not necessarily what an Achilles does to you. It doesn't hurt bad, right away.
All right, fellas. The Baller Shot Caller 1999 said, Chill's been on fire, whether he's cooking or getting cooked.
Chill getting cooked. I don't know what show you be watching. I ain't never seen that happen.
Bob Wick said, my GOAT, real talk. With a smiley
face. Shout out to you, man.
You got fans, real talk.
I got one. I got a lot of.
He's got a cult following, and he doesn't. He's got a cult following.
No, I don't. No. Mars has
you got a cult?
No, Mars.
I acknowledge my cult following.
You moving?
I have a cult following. I acknowledge mine. You have one and deny yours.
No. We regular. We just cut a camera on and talk some moves.
Any cult followers of Real Talk, just remember he denies your existence.
That's not. I acknowledge all of my support.
Are you trying to convert his followers to your followers?
Yeah, that's
no. People can follow whoever they want. I just want Real Talk to acknowledge he has cult followers. I don't think there's a problem.
I have.
And if he won't, is there a cult leader they can follow who will acknowledge their existence?
I mean, I'll acknowledge your existence. I'll say you're glazing, but I'll acknowledge your existence if you want to be a cult follower of me. That's your decision, but. Real Talk has cult followers.
All right. EJ sent through a super chat and said, I just asked that no one try to discredit the Knicks win last night. They were up 10 before JT got hurt.
Well, they were up 7 the moment he got hurt. But yes, the Knicks won that game. Deservedly so.
Flexed Up sent through a super chat and said, counter conspiracy. There's an unwritten rule that NBA owners auto opt into that gives the commissioner selective fixes for business reasons.
Yeah.
This is why I just talk about what happens on the court. Everything that happens higher above my head. I don't know nothing that happens up there. I have my thoughts, but I'm ignorant and I'm vocally ignorant.
Kevin McHale handed the Boston Celtics Kevin Garnett. Absolutely. Let's just be real about that, okay?
And change the legacies of many players.
I'm not gonna lie. The more I think about it, the more it's foolish to think that professional sports isn't rigged. You really think billionaires are dealing with billions upon billions of dollars?
and they're just playing a game of chance.
They're just gonna let it land in
It's not about rigging.
That's what I'm saying. Real talk. I've been come on, bro. Y'all, let's not be naive, though. This is too much money to be playing with.
This is why I don't partake. legacies are defined by things that are like so far out of players' control. Like Kevin McHale ultimately changed Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen's legacies because he wanted to help out the Boston Celtics. So you're telling me I have to view KG differently if Kevin McHale doesn't have an affiliation with Boston now? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to look at what the players can control. At the end of the day, the things above them, they can't control that. If a front office wants to be,
Kobe got Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown.
Like, some things are just meant to happen, and some things aren't meant to happen. I'm not about to start holding it against other players because things went against them. Like, I'm just not going to do that.
The league
Whoever
is
got
better.
if you can, and is writing the script, shout out to you.
Oh yeah, I'm
Right.
doing
Look,
great.
man,
If you can do WWE, if you can do the things they do in WWE, you know what I'm saying, and not like die and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like if you could do all that type of shit and just have all these scripts, like there's all professional sports got a little something to them, man.
Look, the league is in a better financial position with the Lakers being a draw. It's 100% true. When the Lakers are a good team, the league does better. When the Knicks are good, the league does better. This is historical. It's because those markets are enormous and those fan bases have a good following, and the international fan base follows those teams as well. There are international fans who are Laker fans because of Kobe, because of Shaq, because of whatever. Those legacy franchises and Magic. So when those legacy franchises do well, it's good for the team. So obviously, yeah, it put, you got a really big media rights deal coming in. Those media partners might be looking down at you and being like, hey, we don't really like this AD guy going long term in LA. Put something better there because we don't really trust LeBron to be carrying us. And when your ratings
failed, they said give me something better, and they failed.
I'll get it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Hey, so in Dallas next year, like first game, do y'all think like the fans are gonna have a completely different chant? Like they're gonna be like, "Let's go, Nico."
No, all the fans need to go back to the stadium and parade around it for Nico. Remember they was out there holding up signs and throwing vegetables and tomatoes, lighting bonfires. Nah, they need to all go back
now. Hey, Nico back outside.
Hey,
and wait till they get KD. Wait till they get KD.
Nico walking around like Vince McMahon. When Vince McMahon comes out with his chest all back and he's just strutting. That's how Nico walking around Dallas today.
Club promoters going to be putting Nico on the cover of the. Hey, come on,
let's go, Nico.
Hey, come take a shot with Nico.
All right, so I got a couple new members. Mark Tavares just became a member. Shout out to Mark Tavares. And also Lionel 0.02 became a member. Shout out to Lionel. And also shout out to Solomon. Solomon said, is it time to give Coach Carlisle his flowers? I feel as if he has gotten credit or hasn't gotten credit for his time in Indy.
He should have been got his flowers a long time ago. But yeah, he deserves flowers now too.
Amazing. No, I'm
really
good. Cool.
They hating on you, Rick. Yeah, the last 2K bender said, chill with this 4 times a week nonsense. LOL. It's a good thing you don't have to sweep a team to advance.
I've always just interpreted that as 4 times in 2 weeks because I never could be bothered to correct it.
People misspeak and stuff,
Yeah, I know what he's saying. Basically, can you beat a team 4 times in a short period of time? Like, I know what he's saying. Like, I don't need to be obtuse about that.
Teddy Hart sent through a $20 super chat and said, Pin, thanks for pointing out the collusion between Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge gifting Kevin Garnett to Boston, thus starting the super team era. I don't think it's a coincidence this happened the same exact offseason after a 22-year-old took his mid-team to the championship.
Well, Teddy, I'll tell you what, it's kind of ironic that 22 years later, Danny Ainge got somewhat duped into helping the Los Angeles Lakers execute the Luka Doncic trade because he didn't know what he was agreeing to and was furious after he found out. So that's kind of funny.
Danny.
That was payback.
Be mad.
NP13 said, man, take a pay cut. Your quality of life isn't going to change if you have 140 million compared to 110 million. We are trying to win games out here.
You take a pay cut.
MP. Killer Spade 02 said Ron taking a victory lap after a Tatum Achilles tear is nasty work, especially knowing it's already won them a chip. ... Get your narrative off though. Shaking my head.
That's some weak ass basketball.
Thank you, Big Ox. DBZ Stay said, shout out to my guy Drake Powell from UNC. He measured a 7-foot wingspan and a 43-inch vertical. Damn. And the best perimeter player in this draft.
Oh.
Shout out to Drake Powell.
Crazy. High.
War V Room said, what's everyone's favorite back against the wall moment from a player?
KD Game 5 2021. I know they lost the series, but that Game 5 is one of the best games I've ever seen someone play.
You know what? I'm gonna go with one of my guys. He just had his injury, JT. I'm gonna go. Was that Game 6 in Milwaukee, 2022?
The 46.
46. I think they were down 3-2 in the series at the time. Yeah.
Mine's got to be Game 7 versus Philly. Kawhi Leonard, the shot. Kawhi was absolutely gassed. Kawhi was gassed. He'd taken 43 shots that game. That Philly team was so underrated and so good. And he said, prior to taking that shot, my shot's been short for the last few jumpers, and I just had to arc it. And the arc that he put on that shot to get that shot off over Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, who were arguably at the time two of the top 5-6 defenders in the league, both closing at you while Pascal Siakam sitting at the top of the key wide open. And Kawhi took that shot. He did exactly what y'all want Jimmy to do. He went out and he emptied the clip. So
absolutely
great shot. Great shot.
That was a hell of a nowadays. Hell of a shot, Kawhi.
Bounce, you have an empty clip moment?
Bounce.
Relax, bro.
He doesn't we can call a spade a spade. Kawhi doesn't empty the clip like that anymore. He doesn't really.
He just don't got as big as a clip as he used to.
Nah, he just doesn't empty the clip. That is what it is.
I have an empty the clip moment. It's Nico getting rid of that partying, vodka drinking, cigarette smoking, tobacco.
Cook, Ron.
You ran out of insults.
Cook, Ron.
You ran a runway.
Cook, Ron.
You're such a front runner. I'm finding this out about you right now. You're such a front runner.
What?
Cook, Ron.
You get mad at me for saying Nico emptying the clip was a good moment? You see what just happened?
Well, the question was back against the wall, not emptying the clip moment.
His back was against the wall. He had an out of shape superstar that didn't have his mind right, kept coming up hurt.
His back wouldn't play a lick,
wouldn't play a lick of defense, and he said, "I'm gonna let go and let God." And he's traded his ass.
What's your
got him up out of there?
What's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite is Steph Curry, Game 7, 2023, first round. If you would have, the atmosphere in the atmosphere in the Golden One Center alone should have been enough to send them home. But nah, Steph came and gave us 50. I'm talking about he came and put it on us. But that was amazing. Nobody
picked LeBron.
That crowd was rocking that game.
Because I'm saying the way we was going like in the arena, you know what I'm saying, for that playoff series. I wasn't at Game 7. I was only at Game 1, but I can assume that we held it down in Game 7 as well. And you could just hear it on TV too. But the way Sacramento was acting up in that arena, for Steph to come and do that. Gotta show him some love for that.
A sneaky one is that Luka Game 7 against Phoenix.
Nah, this shit was weak.
You don't think
he dismantled the team? The team gave out a written apology after the game. That game from Luka was crazy. He ended that game in the first half. That's a sneaky good one in my opinion.
The Baller Shot Caller 1999 said, "Is it time to question if Mazzulla is even a good coach?"
He's not a coach. He's a leader of men. He's an inspirational speaker. He's a friend. It's his words, not mine.
Yeah, he need to go get with David Goggins and something else. Then you know what I'm saying. Let them go motivate some motherfuckers and get out.
No, they don't. You know what they gonna do? You know what? Game Too Funny said the quote unquote they was going to win anyway. Logic is dead. Dead.
We are probably going to have another year of a new NBA champion.
Probably.
Isn't this what everyone wanted?
Yeah, we definitely do because Boston aren't winning.
Well, you never know though. JB still got.
You're right. You don't know yet. You know what? My fault, Penny.
When's Sam Havlicek supposed to come back?
I mean, people just bitch and complain about nothing. People wanted tanking to end. Back-to-back years, you have playing teams that are competing down the stretch, winning the draft lottery. People wanted the dynasty era to end, and people wanted more parity. And now you're probably going to have a 7th straight year with a new champion. Yo, I think the league is winning. I think Adam Silver took notes about what people wanted, and I think he changed stuff. Good for Adam Silver.
No, if the Boston Celtics win it again,
yo, that would be wild. And
oh man, the
you know what? I ain't even gonna talk about it.
Chill gonna need a month off if they come back without JT and win this series. That would be crazy.
We'll just take it day by day.
Sorry, Knicks fans. I'm rooting for that to happen. I want to see that happen.
Don't count out the Knicks. Don't count out the Celtics in the next game. That closeout game on the road is going to be really hard.
Hey, Alex, you want to read this member chat?
I'm not reading that shit.
Well, Trey said, let's talk about Jaylen Brown being overrated.
I mean, where's he rated?
Top 25.
Oh, then yeah, I think he's overrated.
But y'all about to make me switch up on the Knicks right now.
You should stand on business.
Dark sent through a super chat and said, do the 2020 Lakers beat all the other champs after them?
Nope.
It's whether or not they beat the Celtics. That's the question to me.
Hell no.
Yeah, we beat those Celtics.
Last year Celtics? No way.
We beat them.
Everyone else, I think, is comfortable. I think they beat the Bucks. I think they beat
them.
the Warriors. I think they beat the Nuggets. So it's whether or not they beat the Celtics.
2020 Brian and AD? Yeah, we beating.
And you got Caruso? And you got Caruso?
And Caruso? Oh, yeah, we beating them.
They beat the Nuggets for sure. They beat the Bucks
KCP?
for sure.
Stop.
I don't think they got the Celtics, though.
That's the question. Those are the 2 best champions of this decade, in my opinion. I don't think it's close, but
Lionel .02 said the Mavs gave up AD or got AD Max in LA's first round pick. Luka to LA for Luka. Flag is not included in that. Mavs lost the trade. Okay. Stop being weird. Nico a hoe and forever will be.
I don't agree with that logic because here's the thing. I really strongly was pissed off the year the Wemby draft. The Raptors had the 6th worst record, and they decided to trade for Jakob Poeltl and become good all of a sudden and play for the play-in. I think they cost themselves a chance to get someone like Amen Thompson or Wemby. And it's the same thing here. If you have Luka and Kyrie doesn't get injured or whatever, you're a playoff team. You don't have a chance to do this. So that's just what it is.
Well, if Kyrie doesn't get injured, they're probably a playoff team anyway.
True. So you think
Kyrie? They kind of lucked into, assuming